Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Owlet Season 3.9 playoffs. Today, we are in our final match of the losers semifinals. Council of Anime Girls versus SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. Both of these teams clawing their way back from the losers bracket. The winner will go on to play Meowegian in the losers finals. I'm looking forward to this match. Akronator, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I haven't seen very much of these teams thus far this season, so I'm looking forward to see what they do at their most desperate. Because they are in the losers bracket, one more loss, and they will be out for the season. The winner will, of course, like you said, go on to face Meowegian in the losers finals and try and earn their spot into the grand finals up against, let's see, Storybook Villains. That's who made it.
Yeah, but before they do that, they will have to play Meowegian in those losers finals just to try and secure their place. So they're not set yet just by winning this game. But both of these teams have fought long and hard. Council of Anime Girls winning a tight 3-2 over Monarchy yesterday, and SpongeBob Mac and Cheese taking a very quick 3-1 over Blue's Clues Bandits. So neither of these teams have been especially dominant, but they have been able to get those wins on their matches. And what do you think is going to be the key factor for either of these teams to take this match today?
Ooh, that's a tough one because, of course, these teams are around, Diamond to Masters and SR. So they're going to be towards like above average range in terms of quality of their play. And what I've seen a lot of teams struggle with when they lose in these playoffs has really been their decisiveness, how fast they can play, how comfortably they can play at a fast pace. Because if they play proactively as opposed to reactively, I found that teams like Storybook Villains and Meowegian, who've made it a little bit farther thus far into the playoffs, have had more success doing so as opposed to trying to play reactively. So I would expect to see whichever team plays a little bit faster, plays their own game as opposed to reacting to whatever their opponent is doing, will probably come out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen those aggressive pushes really pay off for teams before. Now, as we go into Lijiang Tower, this is once again one of those control maps where all 3 points play very differently. What do you think we're going to see from these two teams?
Ooh, that's a tough one to call. Aside from Control Center, where that's probably going to be the Reinhardt, the Junkrat, and the Symmetra. But the other two, the standard meta has been in flux a decent amount these past couple of weeks. We've seen a little bit of Reinhardt Diva, we've seen Reinhardt Zarya, we've even seen a bit of Orisa in favor of the off tank position, just because of her recent buffs that disallow her from being headshot when she has her Fortify up. So there's a decent amount in terms of tank compositions, and of course the rest of the team is going to sort of mold around whatever the tanks decide to pick. We might even see some double bubble come back into play. So yeah, there's a decent amount of flexibility in terms of what these teams could run.
Yeah, yesterday we did see them run even some Reaper. We saw some Ryan Divas. We saw a lot of variation in the comps that people were running in their previous game. So it'll be really interesting to see how they come up here. Now, Coag did have the undefeated season, but they've had kind of a rocky playoffs. They did lose their playoff matches very early on. So who do you think is the favorite going into this match?
I don't know. I think Coag are trying to sort of regain that magic that they had earlier in the regular season. Like you said, they went undefeated and almost immediately, I believe, lost to Meowegian in their first playoffs match, which sent them down to the losers bracket. Of course, since then, they've been trying to sort of copy the San Francisco Shock and their tear all the way back up to the grand finals, but still got a few steps to go in that regard. Whereas SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, they've looked relatively consistent the whole way through. They're not like extremely high peak, but they've not looked bad either. So it's really going to depend on if Coag can kind of keep their momentum going, keep a stable, steady rate of play, or if SpongeBob Mac and Cheese can be more consistent and just pull through with less mistakes being made.
Yes, SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. Very interestingly, I was taking a look through the bracket earlier today, and it's interesting. Blue's Clues Bandit did beat Monarchy earlier in our bracket, but then did lose to Storybook Villains. And Monarchy lost to Council of Anime Girls, but SpongeBob was able to beat Blue's Clues Bandit. So based on that very scattered connection of ideas, these teams should be at a fairly similar level going into this match. So it should be a very good match as we go into it.
Yeah, I believe at one point we had a ringer, but I think SpongeBob Mac and Cheese now has their entire roster, unless they have a new ringer, because they did have Botak in here previously.
Yeah, that is something new. Yeah, Keegan is supposed to be their other tank slash GPS player. Currently, it's Laurel is filling in for them, so that seems to be their current situation. Now, from your perspective, Acronator, who do you think is the favorite going into this map? We've seen both teams kind of go back and forth, but who do you think has the advantage going into this match?
I don't want to give a hard prediction as to like who would win the entire series, but I think just based off of everything I've seen from up until this point, I think Coag has a slight advantage just because of their regular season performance. If they can recapture even a fraction of that magic, I think they have a decent chance of gaining momentum. But at the same time, I don't know what these teams are going to be like coming into this particular game day, so there's a decent chance that they could come out and completely surprise us.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we could just see one team just absolutely roll each other. It's definitely not something to rule out. But SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, but having a bit more success, they've been doing a lot of different things. They've been playing the Junkrat too. They've had the Junkrat come out too, and a lot of different things come out. And before we go into our match, we are going to go into a quick break. So just stick around. SpongeBob Mac and Cheese versus Counts of Anime Girls, and we will be right back with you.
She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow. I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt the glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven had found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. Best friend to 23. I heard the heavens crying above me. They gained an angel, I lost a friend. I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me for. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend. lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow, I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt the glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven had found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the SpongeBob Mac and Cheese versus Council of Anime Girls match in our Owlet Season 3.9 playoffs. We did have a bit of issues there and we are going to get a pause now, but we should be going into our match shortly. Our first map is going to be Lijiang Tower and we are going to be... And Acronator, we will be seeing these teams in just a second.
Yeah, well, we are in Control Center, so I would highly expect a Reinhardt, a Symmetra, and a Junkrat, because that's meta. Baptiste Lucio seems to be the meta as of late, and interestingly enough, we have both teams also opting for the Orisa. In the past couple of weeks, I've seen some experimentation with the Zarya and possibly
And the
Diva as well.
And the Sigma.
Yeah, Sigma a little bit as well, yeah. But otherwise, it looks like we're seeing a pure mirror match. We do have Interflux as the final confirmed ringer for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, and Jack will be going over to the DPS as opposed to tank. So we'll be seeing that. But otherwise, yeah, mirror compositions, going from there. See how these teams decide to approach it.
Yeah, and it looks like Coag will be getting the better TP, so they will be getting able to set up in that little room first, and they will be pushing SpongeBob Mac and Cheese back. Both Immortality Fields have to be used early, and Nico goes down early to Hawk's charged up beam, and now Coag looks like they just want to go in. As Hawk does go down, however, to Jack's beam, so SpongeBob Mac and Cheese is able to trade it out here, and now both teams are sitting on point. The TP from Jack, however, going into the backline, putting a lot of pressure down, but Bob Guy is going to get two with his mines, but a Hungry Dude gets Mushroom. However, that is still a man advantage here for Council of Anime Girls. It's a 4v4, 5v4 on the point. Now the early tire takes 3 from Bob Guy. Such a quick charge on that tire. That's incredible.
I didn't realize he had that until he started to rip it, and that was pretty much Matt fight from there. It's really hard to deal with a tire when you weren't expecting it so early. I think Madison had already used their lamp, so there's nothing really they can do. However, they are going to have a tire and a Baptiste Matrix of their own coming into this next fight, so Koyak are going to have to be a little bit creative in how they decide to use their cooldowns and their ults to defend this.
Yeah, now SpongeBob Mac and Cheese running into that little server room and placing the Ant Matrix, but now the tire out for Mustard Man. On his side, a massive shatter out from Reed, and now the kills just come rolling in. Madison and Nico go down, and so does Interflux, and that's going to be Koag looking to hold this point, but Mustard Man does get a couple of kills on the backside of that. Probably not enough to turn the fight, but that's not exactly what you want to see.
Reed going down to quite literally 1 HP after the duel with Jack. Somehow manages to survive and get out with his life. And that was a beautiful shot from Reed, no less. I saw him trying to set it up. I wasn't sure how he was going to make it work, but he did, and that's exactly what they needed.
Yeah, shatter into 2 shields, definitely not fun. Now Jack TPing to that center point, but it's not going to matter as Bob Guy takes down Madison. Nico does attempt the shatter, but gives his life for it. However, and Reed takes down 3 in this fight, but Jack had traded it out. But Koag with the better positioning, they are going to continue to hold this point, in which so far has been fairly dominant on their side.
Yeah, you think that you'd see SpongeBob Mac and Cheese actually take the point at least once, especially with the ultimates that they've been cycling through, but they're just having difficulty pushing in after they get a pick or two. They do.
And here's Bobcat's tire jabber, but can't find anything.
Oh.
Hungry dude, there's 2 down. There's the window. 97% and counting. SpongeBob Mac and Cheese isn't going to be able to touch, and that will be the first round of Li Zhang going over to Council of Anime Girls in a very dominant fashion.
Yeah, that was just Council of Anime Girls flexing on him. You know, there's not very much that SpongeBob Mac and Cheese could really do. Like I said, they were tossing in ultimates and they'd maybe get a pick or two, but it wasn't really adding up to much. Council of Anime Girls will just return with a singular ultimate of their own, get 4 picks off of that, and just rush in like a tsunami. And the entire kill feed was all just Coag. So that's really good play from them. Interesting to see the compositions that we are right now. Coag going over to more of the brawl that we have been seeing over the past week or so.
This is what they ran yesterday too, so I am not surprised.
It's a pretty strong composition. It's coming back into the meta for the first time in about a year or so. Whereas, what about Mac and Cheese going over to this more Wrecking Ball Diva brawl-esque with the double aerial DPS? Very curious to see how they're gonna. Okay, well.
Well, Mustard Man does trade it out. This is what SpongeBob Mac and Cheese ran yesterday, and it was fairly successful, as obviously they did win the match. Blackman takes out Jack, but kills Hawk for it, so that's just trades coming out all over the board. Mustard Man is able to take down the Baptiste for Council of Anime Girls, so they are going to be fighting this without those heals. Hawk now switching over to the Tracer to try and get back onto point, but Council of Anime Girls, Rita has so little shield, and they're just forced into such an awkward position. SpongeBob Mac and Cheese with a massive player advantage, and they'll clean up this fight and just take this first cap.
Yeah, I think that was just Council of Anime Girls not really being prepared for the double aerial composition. It is relatively niche, but it is somewhat a little bit of stagger onto Blackman there. But this double aerial composition, the Bar of the Echo, is rather difficult if you're not running probably double hit scan is the easiest way to deal with it, because then you can just one-to-one them and generally force them onto the ground where the Echo and the Firearm are the most useful. Whereas now you're seeing a Tracer, actually you're seeing double bubble out of Coag, so they're completely swapping it up, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to rotate fast enough with this.
The Ana pick is very interesting. It's not something we see a lot of teams running. Hawk does take care of Hungry, but gives his life for it, and this is a very awkward fight here for Coag. They're gonna have to just try to somehow get out of that small room with the Farah rockets.
The challenge with Afara when you're playing a brawl, kind of like Double Bubble, is that you have to rotate quickly and take the fight to the enemy's front line, and Coag right now is just having difficulty rotating at all, let alone trying to get to SpongeBob's front line. Yep, there we go.
Early barrage from Mustard Man, traded out immediately, and not exactly an ideal place for Madison to try to res, but he is gonna try it. It does not work out. He is finally gonna get it off. Jack switching over to the Tracer, copying Hawk over there, and it works out very well as kills just come rolling in for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, and a fairly old. They do use 4 there, so not exactly the most efficient, but Council of Anime Girls tanks have just not been able to do anything. Rita and Blackman combined are barely hitting 80% ult charge.
Yeah, and speaking of 80%, we're 80, almost 90% to the point. We're in one-fight territory, and Coag doesn't really have too many ultimates to use. The bomb coming in, I'd expect us to possibly get someone. No, but it does.
No,
of course, the
Mushroom saved by the bubble from Blackman. Blackman almost going off the edge, but did manage to save himself. Now Reed is finally going to get into the fray with the beat from Hungry. It is only a 2-man beat, however, and that's going to get killed off quickly. But Clown Cat on the Ana getting very swiftly taken care of by Nico. However, Interflux does get demeched, but Jack takes care of Blackman and Mushroom in the meantime. Rita and Bob Guy, however, want to stay in this round, but Mustard Man does not like that one bit, and Reed is knocking people around with the Primal Rage, but he's the only member of his team left. Now with Interflux getting rezzed up, it's not looking good here for Council of Anime Girls. Clowncat is coming back with a nano, but it's going to be interesting to see if he can even get it off, and he will get it onto Reed. And Coag looks like they do have a chance, so it's not looking likely. Reed now goes down, and Bob Guy can't touch. And that's 100-0 in the other direction. Going to a 3rd round of Li Zhang Tower.
I honestly have no clue how to predict this. I have to wait till the 3rd round to say who might have the upper hand in this series. And that was honestly just a classic case of Koag not having anything to deal with the opponent in the sky. You know, if you take like 1 or 2 rotations and you can't even get to the front line. I mean, they weren't even taking fights on the point; they were taking fights halfway to the point. At that point, you really have to swap to like a Kree or an Ash, maybe a Hanzo, but that's going to be a little bit difficult to hit those shots. You know, some form of hit scan that can actually deal with the Pharah and the Echo up in the sky. The Tracer's not terrible against the Echo because she has the hitbox the size of a truck, but the Pharah is a different story. She can just sink so far away. Mustard Man, unsurprisingly, sticking onto the Pharah. They're actually sticking onto this comp entirely. Sigma.
Yeah, it's an inner flux on the Sigma is a bit of an interesting pick. Count of Anime Girls just wasn't able to take a clean fight on this round, but this time they will be running their classic bunker. They will just stay on that point and just rush anyone that comes to it, but they will be taking the initiation this time, and the front line of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese absolutely falling apart. This comp that they're running plays so split, and Council of Anime Girls just takes advantage of that and rushes down their tanks. However, Mushroom does go down for Mustard Man, and so does Hawk. So Mustard Man, with that great barrage, exploiting the massive health pool that the Council of Anime Girls composition has, and just taking them out systematically and just very quickly flipping this point right back.
That was really interesting. Both teams kind of did weird things there, whereas Koag played very aggressively for a composition that just wanted to bunker up onto the point and do nothing but sit there for as long as possible. And you had Interflux and Nikolai both on off tanks, so they didn't really have any frontline pressure in that sense. They had 2 off tanks, which weren't really capable of taking space as cleanly as they wanted.
There's a very quick rush coming in again from Koag, but this time SpongeBob Mac and Cheese are a bit more prepared. Blackman got knocked around there. He wasn't fully able to engage, but now Reed and Bob Guy are on the point. Hawk takes care of Jack with a quick headshot, but Bob Guy gets traded out by Mustard Man, and Nikolai is just knocking people around, and now Clown Cat with that window trying to find something. Koag is still 5 men strong, but as I say that, Blackman gets taken out, but Hungary gets traded right out, and SpongeBob Mac and Cheese not exactly looking to take a clean engage, but they will just continue to stall this point out. Jack with that Reinhardt is going to have the shatter very shortly, but Mushroom takes him out before he can use it. And Koag look completely in control of this fight, and they will just swiftly take care of Jack and flip this point right back.
Yeah, you're seeing a few swaps come out from SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. Now that Hawk is on the McCree, even as High Noon, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for SpongeBob's DPS to exist. We're actually seeing Pig's Feet, no less, from SpongeBob. So we're seeing the Sigma and the Roadhog. So the Roadhog, Nikolai, is going to have to play the role of the main tank, which is very difficult because he doesn't have a shield.
Oh, the barrage coming out. It gets Cloudcat, it gets Hawk. Mustard Man is going to give his life, and Madison is going to have to Valkyrie just to get out of there. And now the Blizzard used from Bob Guy, and but Mustard Man does get revved up, but not before Flux does get pinned by Reed, but now the beat used by Hungry, now counter beat from Mushroom. Both teams are just brawling it out on the point. Reed holding his shield, just trying to stay alive, but it's gonna get broken, and Jack takes him down. Blackman also taken down by Mustard Man, and it's a 4 versus 4 on the point for both teams. Very chaotic now. Nikolai is back trying to get the hook, but can't find anything, and he gets taken down by Clown Cat. Bob Guy finally taken down by Mustard Man, and now it's just Mushroom and Clown Cat on the point, but now Reed coming back, but he can't do anything but hold his shield. There's just so much damage coming in. Blackman and Mushroom are the sole members left, but they're just eating up so much damage from the side of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, and SpongeBob Mac and Cheese finally flipped this point after what seems like an eternity.
Yeah, well, that was about 70 or so % of the point that they held on to that point and kept the fight going. So that's pretty good if you're Koag. You really just need to take one more fight. Be careful of SpongeBob's ultimates, obviously, because they have the barrage, they have the duplicate, they have the flux from Interflux. So I'd expect to see probably the barrage come out first if Mustard Man has anything to say about it.
Yep, there it is. He does get Clown Cat, but once again he gives his life for a Blackman. Very quick on that reaction with the and now Madison gets taken out by Hawk's Deadeye. Jack over to that Diva, but once again he gets very quickly taken care of, but Nikolai with that whole hog is just knocking people back. Jack taken care of twice just because of the D.Va form, and he's getting killed for a third time in this fight. Reed with the shatter does manage to get Nikolai, and it's final fight here for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. Mustard Man is doing his best to try and get this fight, and Reed finally goes down after all that pressure. Clown Cat with the amplification matrix, but Mustard Man is just doing so much work on the Pharah. Nikolai is now rezzed up, and Jack is back on the Doomfist, and now this overtime meter is just gonna tick down, and SpongeBob Mac and Cheese will be taking the first map.
I'm surprised Coag allowed for Mustard Man to get as much value on the Pharah as he did. The Mei wasn't a terrible pick, but I almost would have liked to see possibly like a Soldier or an Ashe to complement Hawk on the McCree, just to add that little bit of extra pressure, because they were still playing the double aerial DPS composition. I feel like not being able to deal with both threats at the same time sort of allowed, if they weren't pressuring Mustard Man, then Jack would come in on the Echo and just melt people left and right, and the same thing was true for Mustard Man. So it was just allowing too much of Mac and Cheese's DPS to sort of get value, as well as by the time the tank swapped over to the Sigma and the Roadhog, that's so much damage all at once.
Yeah, Hawk did switch over to the McCree at one point, but it just wasn't enough, and Mustard Man was just able to find so much value on this Pharah, even with Blatman on that D.Va. So we'll see how Coag can deal with this going into their map pick.
Yeah, however, I will say that Coag is most certainly not out of it quite yet. That last round, I think, I hope, is going to be an indicator of how close this series is probably going to be. It was back and forth a lot more than the previous two rounds, where I think both teams are kind of finding their comfort zone and trying to learn how to adapt to their opponents, whereas Night Market there on Lijiang was a lot more back and forth.
Yeah, 2 100 to zeros, and then an 80 to 100. Definitely not something you should rule out either team. For Escort, we are going to be seeing Rialto, Route 66, and Watchpoint Gibraltar coming out. And what do you think is going to be picked? Rialto has been the favorite for Council of Anime Girls to go to, and yeah, we are going to see it. So.
Yeah, I think I've not seen anything besides Rialto, in all honesty. Every team's just picking that. That's interesting for pick, however, because that does kind of lean into the Echo Pharah composition once again, so SpongeBob Mac and Cheese can just kind of continue to play that until they don't have to or are forced off of it, whereas Coag are really going to have to answer back. If they're going to play that Mei, they have to take it to the enemy's front line, because they're essentially not going to have any DPS on SpongeBob Mac and Cheese frontline, because ideally the Pharah, the Echo, even the Mercy are going to be up in the sky. So it's really just going to be a 6 versus 3 on the ground. And if they can win that fight quicker on the ground, then they can turn around, deal with the people up in the sky, win the fight. That's ideally how you win these, but again, it comes down to being able to rotate quickly, which they struggled with on Lijiang Gardens. They didn't really have to rotate too much on Night Market. That was mostly just everyone was staggering in all at the same time, so I don't think they really had the chance. So we'll have to see.
Yeah. We are going to see Sempra now coming in for Bob Guy, which indicates to me that they want to play a Tracer. And yeah, that's what we've seen from them before. And as you mentioned, SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, we've seen this map played for them before, and they just ran that Echo and that Hog on Rialto yesterday, and it worked for them. So we'll see which team can get the better of another, if Coag can shut down that aerial attack from SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, or if SpongeBob Mac and Cheese can just continue to pressure them with that Pharah and with that Echo.
Yeah, definitely. So again, if you're SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, you can just keep doing what you're doing. You won the previous map. Why not keep it the same if it worked? Whereas Coag, the onus is going to be on them to adapt from here on out.
Yeah, and I really don't think it's a compositional problem here from Coag. I think it's really just how they're playing. They need to be more decisive on their engages and their rotations, and they need to curb their aggression a little bit. Mustard Man was doing such a great job on Pharah of picking off players after Coag was engaged on them and just punishing the aggression so well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I like to say whenever I coach players that unless you're in contenders trials, composition is not the thing that you should be worried about. So, for the most part, yeah, if you're going to be dealing with a Pharah, you really just need to rotate quickly so that she can't get damage. And if you play too fast, she can only shoot so many rockets at a time, and she's not going to get enough damage to build up a barrage to get that 4 or 5k that Mustard Man was getting on the Pharah, especially because now you have Koag on defense first. They don't have to rotate. In fact, it's SpongeBob Mac and Cheese that have to rotate. So they're the ones who are going to have to try and position the bar, and it's up to Koag, especially Sempra on this Ashe, to disallow that from happening. Are we seeing a Bastion from Jack?
We are seeing a Bastion from Jack. That is what he wrote on his team card, so I guess it makes sense. Yeah, but absolutely, Pharah is a hero that gets valued from playing slow and just being able to spam those rockets over a very long period of time. But Sempra getting very quickly dispatched to fight the damage from Jack. And now Hawk is dueling Mustard Man, but against a Mercy Pocket, not exactly a favorable duel. And Hawk is just going to take his lead and just get out of there as Blatman just gets mowed down. And this comp, and this double bubble comp from Koag is just getting absolutely demolished here.
Yeah, the thing with Double Bubble is that it's a really slow brawl composition. It's not actually a dive despite having the Winston. And slow doesn't exactly work when you have a Bastion and a Pharah. so they're going to need to change some things up. Hawk already over to the Echo. I like it. That's going to be able to deal with the Bastion a little bit more effectively. Sempra can stay on the Ashe. That's fine. Just needs to find better angles to deal with Mustard Man, which looks like they're already pressuring now. So, again, if you're Koag, build up the Bob. You're getting close to the Nano. Might want to swap the tanks up, though. Regardless, maybe just swap the main tank to a Reinhardt or something a little bit quicker.
Yeah, the tank composition, however, for SpongeBob is very interesting on Reinhardt Sigma. Not something you see too often, but they are going to be doing a lot just to protect this Bastion. And the amount of damage that Jack is just going to be doing, just shown right here. Mustard Man and Jack, it's just so much. There's a Bastion in one direction, but when you try to pay attention to him, you just get shot by the Pharah in the backside. It's such a difficult DPS duo to play around.
Yeah, and especially now that they both have their ultimates, I would expect to see the barrage come out rather soon. Mustard Man likes to open up fights with that, so I'd expect him to get a little bit closer, or possibly he's playing a little bit further back, so maybe not playing the same old song and dance every single time.
Yeah, Sempra now over to the Hanzo, however, so they are going to have a bit more shield break here to try and break that Sigma barrier, or that Rye barrier. Now the Nano onto Reed, but the counter barrage from Mustard Man gets very quickly shut down by Sempra, and that's going to be a very quick fight win for Council of Anime Girls. Really good engage by Reed with the bubble and with the Nano boost.
Yeah, that's honestly exactly how they have to play this if they want to play the double bubble. They're going to have to play uncharacteristically fast, whereas, like I said before, double bubble is generally going to be played a little bit more slow, methodically. You have to wait for your bubble cooldowns. But now, especially since they have a lot of burst damage with their DPS, they can probably engage a little bit quicker, use Hawk's Mines to do something. Jack's probably going to be looking to use his Bastion ultimate and then possibly swap offs now that they don't have the establishment onto the point.
Well, we'll see. We've seen some teams just stick to stuff like glue. But now Reed going over to the back line. Now the tank called out. Nikolai lays down the Shatter Crouches too, but now the Counter Dragon out from Sempra, not able to find anything. Hawk duplicating the Pharah, and he's going to have the barrage, but he's not going to find anything, and very quickly dispatched to Reed. Does find two of the Primal Rage, but it's just not enough. And SpongeBob Mac and Cheese will be moving on for first to third point. I cannot speak today.
That's alright. Well, we do have Nikolai actually swapping off of the Reinhardt onto the Wrecking Ball. I think that might have been just to get back quicker. No, okay, yep, he's going back to spawn, so probably back to the Reinhardt for him. Now, interestingly enough, we do have the ultimate combo of the Flux and the Barrage from SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, so I'd expect to see that relatively soon. Whereas, okay, well, maybe not too soon.
Can't do it if your Pharah is dead, and now Madison is gonna just have to desperately try to get back to their team, and they will be able to. And now the grab out onto the tanks of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. The Immortality Field had to be used to protect Jack, and now the anti coming up big, and now Reed did get taken down by Jack, but he's gonna get rezzed up, but it is gonna be a 4v5, a 5v5 now in favor of Madison. Now res Mustard Man, but as Clown Cat goes down, it's not looking great here for Council of Anime Girls, so they are just getting spammed out by Mustard Man. Blatman is now isolated in the backline of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, and he's just gonna get swiftly dispatched up, and this card is just gonna start rolling into third point, and this is gonna have to be Koag's last stand.
Yeah, they're really only gonna have one more fight. It's not gonna be a good fight for them either. It's gonna be a very split fight from the look of how they're returning from spawn, and that's unfortunate because they are playing the brawl. They're going to need to be playing as close together as possible, otherwise things like that happen.
Sempra getting taken down is not good. He was going to have the Dragon Strike, but they have to fight this Hawk over to that Reinhardt. Char does manage to charge the Bastion, does get Jack, and it's just going to swing at Interflux, but the problem is the cart is just completely left exposed as Hungry Dude and Mustard Man take care of Hawk and Cloudman. Respectively, Mustard Man takes care of Sempra with the barrage and manages to live through. Mushroom is just trying to pistol him down, but a Mercy against Afar is not a favorable match. Reed shadows right into the shield of Nikolai, but does manage to knock down Hungry, but he is gonna live. Hawk finds Nikolai, however, but it's such a scrappy fight. Mustard Man is going to take down Clown Cat, and the rest comes onto Nikolai with the help of the Immortality Field, and SpongeBob Mac and Cheese takes a commanding cap on Rialto.
Rialto is one of those points where it's so difficult to finish the map. It's very common that you see it stopped on the second point, about halfway or so to third, and it's just so difficult to take that final third point just because of the massive spawn advantage. Unfortunately, when you have a team that has really a target focus or just insane amounts of damage and are kind of thriving in the chaos like SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, you can get these ungodly time banks like 230. You know, in some other maps, 230 might be a good time bank, not a great one. In Rialto, that is really hard to beat. That is a statement and a half.
Yeah, SpongeBob Mac and Cheese making it work with the Bastion of all things. Not something you see very often in ranked or in actual play, but they made it work, and Jack is going to be sticking to it on the defense.
Yeah, I mean, it worked. It didn't really feel like Council of Anime Girls had a distinct answer to it. I mean, they were playing the right things. They had the Echo, they had the Hanzo. That's, in theory, the right counter picks, but again, at this level, it comes down to how you play it more than what you play. You can't assume that the players are just immediately going to play correctly and as a team and play together in their brawl composition. They do have to actually execute it properly. So this Bastion, I don't blame the Bastion pick anymore, just because of how wildly successful it was. It's really going to be on Hawk in particular, since he's the Hanzo to chip down that Bastion.
Yeah, we talk about the Bastion a lot too, but Mustard Man was doing as much work as Jack, if not more, on the Pharah. Those two threats combining to make a really deadly DPS duel and providing just so much damage. But now Blackman is going to get hooked in, and he's just going to get taken care of just swiftly and decisively. And now Koag is trying to route below, trying to find anything. But now, and it looks like Hawk is going to be going back into spawn to try and switch off. Jack is just on the bridge. He doesn't care. He's just going to keep shooting people. He's going to take care of Sempra. And Reed also is going to get knocked off by Mustard Man. So not a great first fight here for Council of Anime Girls. And Blackman, we're going to see a compositional switch on the tanks. Reed going over to the Wrecking Ball, Blackman going over to the Hogs. So that should be a bit better. The ball might be able to knock around some of the tanks of SpongeBob, and Blackman might be able to get a hook on this Bastion.
Possibly, and like you said before, Mustard Man is kind of going unnoticed for the time being, mostly because the Bastion is such a demanding presence. But yeah, Mustard Man can do stuff like that and get away with it as much as he wants.
Yeah, and Reed has to be so careful of walking into that Bastion sightlines. Even with that 600 HP Bastion, it's just gonna tear that down in a second.
Yeah, now we're starting to see the point in the round where the teams, or I guess the team in this case, have ultimates out.
Reed just got solo ulted in the backline, hooked by Nikolai, and just full hog into next week. And now Koag is now playing with his player down, and they're just having so much spam from the entire team of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. They just haven't been able to get a clean fight.
Yeah, and they've been swapping so much that Hawk is really the only one that's even remotely close to an ultimate, whereas the defense basically has 5.
Nikolai going down, though, is definitely going to help their case, and now Koag is going to try to capitalize on this. Reed just going in, trying to knock Jack off. Jack lives by the skin of his teeth, and he is going to live to fight another day, but now the Dragon Strike out from Hawk. Sempra takes down Interflux. Both tanks of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese are down, but they are going to continue to fight this. Nikolai now back on the ball, and now the barrage out from Reed, the tank configuration out from Jack. Oh, they fight 3, Jack with a 3rd. Oh, the tank configuration, not something you see too often, but it's going to pick up 3 kills right here.
Yeah, I wasn't watching Jack in that case. I was keeping an eye on Mustard Man because he was waiting for the opportunity to flank and use the barrage. He only managed to get Reed, but at the same time, no one on the side of Coag was really paying attention to the Pharah. They had to have known that she had barrage, so that's a very dangerous thing. And
Ooh, Jack just gets bursted down by the storm arrows of Hawk in there. And killed with the help of Semper, but Mushroom and Semper both go down. Hawk finds Mustard Man with a headshot, and Hawk's trying to be the hero here for Council of Anime Girls, and this is their final fight. It's just 45 seconds, unless this fight goes very quickly, which is not looking like it. This is going to be their final fight. That card, however, is moving. It is around the corner. It's more than they've gotten so far. The Dragon Strike in from Hawk, and now he's going to be taking care of Jack, and now SpongeBob Mac and Cheese trying to retreat, but Hawk fights Hungry, finds Madison. He's finding all the kills. He's putting this team on his back and marching this card into first point. Semper takes care of Mustard Man, and the rest of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese look like they just want to go back. Jack gets taken down by some headshots from the storm arrows. Reed is going to fall, but it's not gonna matter. However, SpongeBob Mac and Cheese do look like they want to fight. This Nikolai is going to get taken down, however, and now the payload marches in. No one was able to touch Mustard Man and Flatman. And Nikolai were able to find kills, but it's just not gonna matter as Coag finally manages to get point A.
that was rather hectic there. I think one thing that is becoming ever more apparent is that Mustard Man is going completely unnoticed for the most part. And Coag really needs to do a better job of keeping track of that. It's going to be mostly on Sempra, but also the supports to keep an eye out for that. You know, if you hear anything, if you see anything, tell the rest of your team, because that'll allow Sempra to actually do something about the sightlines.
Yeah, Blackman going a bit too deep there, but Mustard Man with a beautiful barrage, however, is going to get taken down by Blackman. However, still a man advantage for the side of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. Now the Valkyrie out from Madison just to provide some more healing, and manages to somehow get the resurrection out onto Mustard Man, but does give his life for it. Bob now into the backline of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, and he's now inside the building, so the sightline a bit restricted there, but still going to be firing on some members. Now the Dragon Strike out from Hawk to try and find some kills, and Nikolai does go down, which Sempra is going to get taken down by Jack. Jack finding 3 in this fight, but Hawk and Reed trying to bring it back. Hawk and Reed with 2 each. Mustard Man, however, pressuring down Hawk, not letting him get the kills he wants, but this cart is still moving in the meantime. And SpongeBob Mac and Cheese look like they do want to back off for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, they had a brilliant defense there for, God, like 90 seconds almost. They're really just trying to wear down the clock. At this point, I don't think it's even possible for Coag to have a better time than SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. Even if they capture all 3 points, they might even be into overtime mode already. I don't exactly recall the math for a second point into third point here, but it doesn't really matter because the clock is wearing down. They're probably going to be getting into close to overtime by the time they get the second. And the defense is coming up on ultimates again.
Reed wasn't able to get his grappling, he wasn't able to get the boop onto the members of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, but it's not going to matter as Interflux and Hungary all go down. Sempra does get taken down in the meantime, but it looks like that's the only kill that's going to come in for the side of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. But as I say, that Clown Kick gets taken down by Jack, who is for some reason in the backline of Council of Anime Girls, and during this, Nikolai is stalling cart. This is SpongeBob Mac and Cheese are trying to bring this back, but Jack gets hooked in by Blackman and very swiftly taken down. 10 seconds left on the clock for Council of Anime Girls to try and cap this point. Now the Barrage and the Flux both out. Mustard Man does get stunned up, but has the nano. He is going to be able to live. Blackman with that whole hog is just getting absorbed by Interflux's kinetic grasp. Hawk gets rezzed, but it's not going to matter. And Sempra with the high noon has to just cancel it for the
can't touch.
He can't. He walks into the mine, and this isn't looking good for Council of Anime Girls. They have 1 player left. It's just the Ana, and it looks like the overtime clock will be rolling down. Reed is going to manage to get a touch, but the sim turrets aren't doing him any favors, and the overtime ticker ticks down. And SpongeBob Mac and Cheese take map 2 in an unconventional but dominant fashion.
Yeah, unconventional is certainly a word that comes to mind. That was really weird compositional choices, but I like to see things shaken up a little bit, and it felt like SpongeBob Mac and Cheese really knew this composition that they wanted to play inside and out. You know, Jack was the main distraction, probably more so than any of the tanks. The Mustard Man was just allowed to go into the backline, do whatever. Eventually, things kind of devolved into what I have to describe as deathmatch towards the end there of Council of Anime Girls' attack. because you had Jack on Symmetra in the back line, but it still works. They were running down the clock. Council of Anime Girls weren't really able to coalesce, and they lacked any real target focus that they would have needed to actually overpower the defense at that point.
Yeah, and it just wasn't their time to shine. They had that couple of fight wins, but overall, just SpongeBob Mac and Cheese was able to do a really good job of just wearing down the clock and just wearing down Counts of Anime Girls, and Counts of Anime Girls just kind of fell apart.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, SpongeBob Mac and Cheese are up 2-0 in the series now, and Council of Anime Girls are in do or die situation. They have to win or draw every single map from here on out if they want to remain in this season. This is, of course, the lower bracket, the semifinals for the losers bracket. So they lose this game and they're out.
Yeah, they are going to be out of the season. It is going to be hybrid now. Iconwell, Blizzard World, and Hollywood in the map pool. Uh, what do you think we'll see? And I think really they have to play to SpongeBob Mac and Cheese's weaknesses now. What do you think really will prohibit SpongeBob Mac and Cheese from playing the game they want to?
Let's see. Well, Hollywood is probably going to be Coag's ideal choice in terms of preventing too much of the Farah echo that we've been seeing. They could still try and play the Bastion teleporter on Hollywood, but it's a little bit more awkward because there's a lot more sight lines, especially on second point where it's so open. It's a lot easier to get behind and deal damage from there. Eichenwald, on the other hand, actually does work for the Farah Echo, which they've had trouble with. It actually works very well for the Bastion teleport strat as well, so that's a little bit dangerous. And it has a little bit of an easier time, more flanks for, say, Mustard Man to flank around on the Farah and basically do what it's been doing all series long, playing Farah as though her Tracer.
Yeah, we'll see if Koa can do something now. SpongeBob Mac and Cheese with the Bastion, and what do you think Koak really could have done differently there if they wanted to take down the Bastion and just win the map essentially in a more effective manner?
Probably just run straight onto the Bastion. It's honestly the same deal as the Farah. Is just run head first into the front line. In this case, the Bastion, just overpower him with pure speed and determination before he gets a chance. Because the longer the fight draws out, heroes like Bastion and Farah are going to be more valuable because they thrive on these slow moving compositions, right? So I think that was Coag's biggest downfall in that case, just allowing themselves to be ticked down so much, and they didn't really have the opportunity to actually push in and take a clean fight, especially on their defense.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see if Koa can adapt. They were so aggressive in that first round, but the other thing I would like to highlight was how good Mustardman was being at punishing the attempts from Koag to try and rush down the Bastion when it did happen. So Mustardman and Jack both a threat that Koag is really going to have to deal with if they want to get back into the series.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, in all honesty, it's probably going to be worth them trying out something like a double hit scan. Have like a McCree Echo or McCree Ash. That's what I meant to say. Possibly something like a Widowmaker, because we are seeing Hollywood for the map pick. So Widowmaker could definitely be played here. Hanzo can work, but you might want to run something like a Ryan Zarya just to have that Grav Dragon combination, especially if they try to run the Bastion, because I don't believe they've been running a Baptiste on SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. It's mostly been the Anna and the Mercy. So there's nothing really to deal with the Grav Dragon if that happens. That's just it's kind of like assuming they're going to be trying to play to what SpongeBob Mac and Cheese have been playing, as opposed to just kind of playing their own game, which we've seen a lot of teams like to do at this level.
Yeah, and it looks like we will be going to Hollywood for our third map. It is a map that does play to Bastion a little bit, but not as strong as Rialto is. So we'll see if Council of Anime Girls can deal with this, or if SpongeBob Mac and Cheese will just take this and take the series very quickly.
Yeah, yep, obviously. SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, it appears like they're going to be on attack first again. They do have the opportunity to change that. But for the time being, they still are on attack. So they can't make it a very short map at the very least. They'll have to capture at least a tick. Otherwise,
Yeah,
they'll draw it.
Yeah, this attack is really going to set the pace for how well they'll be able to do for this map. They were on this map yesterday against Monarchy and ran the double bubble with Sempra on the hit scan and Hawk on the tracer. So we'll see if this map is any more effective at dealing with that Pharah in the Bastion. The other thing I would like to highlight was Interflex and Nikolai, who are doing a very good job of protecting that Bastion from a lot of the harm that was also coming from Council of Anime Girls.
Yeah, and especially because I believe it was Nikolai on the Sigma for a while there. Was doing a great job of just, or no, I believe it was actually Interflex on the Sigma. Nikolai was on the Roadhog for a while. Interflex is doing a great job just like pumping in damage on whatever target Mustard Man was. So I think that was great shot calling from whoever is calling the targets, probably Interflex in that case. Looks like we are going to have a substitution. Bob Guy coming back in for Sempra. So I might be seeing a little bit more flex DPS because Bob Guy was the one playing the Junkrat, the Hanzo, the Echo more so on Li Zhang.
Yeah, so we'll see if they want to switch to this double hit scan. However, Hawk on the Hanzo did get a lot of work done on Rialto, doing a lot of work to win those few fights that Koeg was able to win. So we'll see if that will pay off for them this time.
Yeah, well, I think we're just waiting on the teams to be ready. But in the meantime, yeah, it looks like SpongeBob Mac and Cheese will be sticking on the offense. They probably just want to stick with the momentum that they've had thus far. They seem to be a fast-paced team, as it were.
Yeah, Koag does play very fast-paced, very aggressive, and we'll see if that'll work out for them. Now, with Koag going in with the double bubble, do you think that's gonna work here against SpongeBob Mac and Cheese and the Pharah that they've stuck to? The Bastion is a question mark, but do you think it is going to be better at countering the Pharah?
Double Bubble by itself is a rather slow-based composition, mostly just because it's based around the bubble usage, the two bubbles being obviously the Winston Shield and the Zarya's team barrier. And it's very difficult in most cases. I mean, I've seen Owl teams struggle to pull it off properly, to cycle both of those bubbles properly so that the Winston can stay alive and actually do something. But if they do have that kind of synergy down to allow Reed to actually stay alive long enough to get in and get out without feeding, then they can technically play this quickly like they would need to against the Far, against the Bastion. But it is going to be rather difficult. In that case, they'd probably need one of their DPS to find an off angle, possibly go on the soft flank, maybe even a hard flank, depending on what they're playing, and cause a little bit of chaos in the meantime to try and stir things up, kind of dislodge whatever core SpongeBob Mac and Cheese have. Because right now they're just not playing fast enough, Coag is, to really make SpongeBob Mac and Cheese sweat like they need to.
Yeah, and SpongeBob Mac and Cheese have just been in complete control in this game throughout the entirety of the series so far. So Council of Anime Girls is really going to want that back going into this map. I think if they can stick with their comfort picks and just play their game and take control of the game back, they are definitely going to have a better chance going into this map.
And it looks like everyone is ready, so the lobby host should be getting us in just a few moments here, folks. Again, we're going on to Hollywood, and SpongeBob Mac and Cheese up 2-0 in the series thus far. It is first to 3. So Council of Anime Girls, despite their lossless regular season, are going to have to make their final stand here in Hollywood.
Yeah, they're one more. If they lose this map, they're out for the season. And as we go in, this is Council of Anime Girls are going to have to fight for their lives on this map.
Yeah, and sure enough, SpongeBob Mac and Cheese are sticking on the offense. They seem to be pretty happy with just keeping the momentum rolling. And we will see what the defense wants to run Coag in just a few moments, less than 10 seconds now, whereas SpongeBob Mac and Cheese have a little bit more time to meme around and spawn. Mind you, their compositions thus far have looked like memes without any context, so they could very well be doing this. I'm not sure yet.
Jack, it does look like we are going to be seeing the Bastion from Jack, and it looks like Mustard Man will be on the Symmetra just to teleport him around, just to get him some more mobility. And the strat has worked before on Hollywood, and it looks like we will see the Mercy Baptiste support line coming out on the attacker side. Coag is actually going to be on the defense, so they will be playing the May with the McCree. So this is going to be very interesting. It looks there is no Pharah here for the McCree to shoot, but he will be able to shoot the Cementor, shoot the Bastion. So we'll see if this pays out for them.
Yeah, Hawk's really going to be on shield break duty for the time being, and if you're Bob Guy, once they realize what SpongeBob Mac and Cheese are running, he's going to need to be looking for a wall to section someone off, ideally the Bastion or Nikolai, and just everyone charge him. Everyone goes at the exact same time, everyone dies.
Council of Anime Girls is holding close, but this TP means that hold is going to be useless, and now they have swapped places. Council of Anime Girls look like they have to break into this point rather than defend it, and this is already a very good start for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. Now they're going to drop back to point and just start ticking up this percentage. Already a tick almost, and now Council of Anime Girls are forced into a corner. Reed immediately gets mowed down by Jack, and now Council of Anime Girls are scrambling as Hawk down Mustard Man, and Jack finally gets taken down by Clown Cat. Interflux goes down, and that looks like it will be a one fight here for Council of Anime Girls after that very chaotic start.
Yeah, and I think I really want to highlight Hawk there, as he was the one who was doing a lot of the poke damage from an off angle, alongside with Clown Cat, who also lit up the kill feed quite a bit, and that's exactly what he has to do in this case. You do have a few swaps coming in, Mustard Man going to the Echo, but otherwise it looks like everything else is staying the same. And you do have a decent amount of defensive ultimates coming up online. Clown Cat can have that Baptiste Matrix very soon.
I'm very interested to see how they make this Bastion work without the mobility of this MTP. And Bob Guy is going to immediately take down Jack. However, SpongeBob Mac and Cheese still want to fight this. The Amplification Matrix coming out, but it's going to get very quickly taken down. But that gave Council of Anime Girls enough time to retreat. Jack will be back on the Pharah, however, so him and Mustard Man trading roles, but Mustard Man gets taken down by some nice shots from Hawk, will be resurrected up, but that gave Council of Anime Girls some space to push in Amplification Matrix and Shatter used, but now the counter Shatter out from Nikolai does catch a flat, and Hawk with the two-man Deadeye is going to seal it up, and that's going to force SpongeBob Mac and Cheese back, and already Council of Anime Girls are showing that they want to win this match. They want to stay in this.
Yeah, this looks like an entirely different team, at least in terms of the speed that they're playing, and I want to highlight Clown Cat in particular, because he's not showing up in the kill feed that much, but he's doing an insane amount of healing. He's basically halfway to another Matrix, and he just used his like 30 seconds ago. So that's really good. That's exactly what they're going to need to be doing, especially with the double aerial DPS composition from SpongeBob Mac and Cheese coming back.
Yeah, now Koak doing a really good job at this aggression. They know their DPS are in the air, so there's not going to be anyone to help the front line. Hawk takes down the Pharmacy duo. Nikolai is going to get pinned here by Reed, and that's going to be once again a quick fight win for Council of Anime Girls, and now we're down to just about a minute left.
Yeah, and if you're SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, you have some ultimates coming up online. You have the copy and the Baptiste Matrix basically already there. So you have something to work with in this upcoming fight, but the defense has so much more. They have almost everything besides the Blizzard, which they just used. So this is going to be very difficult to push into.
Yeah, now the Amplification Matrix out from both teams. The Bob out from Flatman, but he gets taken down by Nikolai's Fire Strike, and Jack gets the barrage onto Hawk, but gives his life for it. And now the rest of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese is just pushing for the double Reinhardts. Now the double shield composition taking on a new meaning. Now the Shatter laid down by Mustard Man, and he's finally going to get taken out of his transformation. And it looks like SpongeBob Mac and Cheese will be able to take this point with just about 30 seconds left. And that pick up to Clown Dog is just going to stagger Council of Anime Girls' recontest just so much more.
Yeah, if they didn't lose Clown Cat there, they might have been able to run in and, give up maybe 2 ticks, but losing to Baptiste like that so late, it wouldn't have worked. They possibly, on the other hand, however, they do have the Beat and the High Noon coming into this next fight. Noon, I wouldn't be shocked to see it come out rather soon, just to get the sky clear.
Yeah, absolutely, and now the Beat out from Mushroom Hour to keep Reed alive. Clown Cat's Immortality Field is going to get dispatched of, but Hawk once again taking care of both aerial DPS. Mustard Man does get rezzed up, but the damage is done. Hungry Dude getting taken down by the swings from Reed, and once again the rest of Council of Anime Girls just surging forward. Interflux gets isolated and very quickly taken out.
now you're having both sides relatively even in terms of ult economy. You're seeing a few swaps come in for the offense. SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, Nikolai swapping over to Winston, Hungry Dude going to the Ana. So we're seeing a more traditional double bubble minus the DPS. Whereas Hawk still has the High Noon. You have Bob Guy with the Blizzard coming up rather soon, Blatman with the Bomb, Clown Cat with the Matrix. I'd expect to see the High Noon a little bit soon. I was kind of surprised it wasn't used already, as well as probably without Drew from Madison coming out soonish.
Yeah, but now Council of Anime goes this really strong defensive position here. Hawk is just going to have so much room to shoot down Mr. Mustard Man, but now the dive from Nikolai goes onto him. Hawk gets taken down by the focusing beam from Jack, and Mustard Man Barrage isn't going to find anything. He is going to get res, so he is going to be back for this fight. It's going to be a 5v5, but the rest of Council of Anime is going to be dropping the cart. But a nice anti-nade from Hungary is going to shut down their aggression. Clown Cat does go down, but now the beat out from Mushroom, and now they are going to be going aggressive. But as the grab now comes out, Hawk is channeling that High Noon just to zone out some of the follow-up onto the grab, and now the Blizzards is out for Bob Guy. Interflux gets frozen, but Hungary is there to keep him up. This fight is still going on. Jack investing the copy now, and Blatman does have the bomb, does find Interflux, but now Jack on the May is just trying to build up to a Blizzard, and he does finally have it. He is going to put it down after getting dispatched of Nikolai on that Winston, just knocking people around. Clown Cat gonna commit the amp matrix, and now Council of Anime Girls look like they want to try and regroup to try and take a better engage, but SpongeBob Mac and Cheese gonna keep the chaos going. Hungry Dude takes care of Bob Guy, and now Mustard Man is just pushing forward with that nano boost. Nikolai just holding that door against Reed, just trying to give this card enough room to move. And now Clown Cat gets taken down by some well-placed rockets from Mustard Man, and Mustard Man once again showing his prowess on Farah, but the rest of Council of Anime Girls doesn't want to let this game go. Blatman is on cart alone, but he's gonna get taken care of, and now the duplicate from Jack onto the Diva might have been unnecessary, but we are in overtime, and ult economy does not mean anything in overtime. So, and this cart will finally be moving into second point.
Yeah, we're gonna have a few late spawns here, mostly just from Reed, although he might be able to get out alive because he is a tank. That's gonna require a little bit of heal. Nope, okay, doesn't get any heal, so unfortunate. That's just another ult percentage fed to SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. Worth noting that Blatman did a really good job of stalling his baby Diva, no less, there on second point, which is what forced the clock down as low as it was. Although he's gonna have to disengage from the high ground right now. No real ultimate on mine.
Yeah, this is going to be a fairly dry fight. However, Hawk has found success with his High Noon before, so we'll see if he can find it again. Now, Interflux gets frozen, but he is gonna live. But now he's gonna get pinned, and it's just gonna get taken down very quickly. Nikolai gets frozen up, but Clown Cat does go down from the Tesla cannon, and he's just gonna go full angry. Mushroom drops the beat, but it's only a two-man beat onto him, and Reed drops the hammer, but can't find anything. And these are some fairly low-value ults from Koag, and that's not what you want to see. Reed gets taken down, and now Blatman is going to have the bomb. However, Mustard Man did not get his concussive blast off. He is going to get res, but that does mean that it's going to be gone for the next 30 seconds. And now, with overtime being in less than 10, this cart is going to have to move fairly quickly. Hawka now with the High Noon, going to try to find something. The Matrix was there, but Mustard Man was taken out. And now the rest of Council of Anime Girls surging in. Jack now with the copy onto the Reinhardt, trying to find something, but the Council of Anime Girls are just racking up kills. It gets blocked by Reed, and it's just Interflux and Jack on cart, but they aren't going to be able to touch it. This cart will be stopped just 3.45 meters from third point.
Not a bad push, but a good stop of the cart if you're Koag. That's exactly what you needed, because now the win condition is there. All they need to do is push it to the yellow box of victory, just shy of third point, and they can call this map a win, move on to the next one, take it one map at a time. And that's exactly what they need.
Yeah, there is a win condition. If Koag, however, gets held, which is definitely a possibility, it is over for them, so we'll see what happens. However, if they do manage to push it, they basically do need to complete Hollywood, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, well, we're going to see the defense, SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, show their picks right now, aside from Jack, who is still contemplating in spawn. But otherwise, no real surprises. I'm sure Jack is considering the Bastion, but
Most
otherwise,
likely considering whether to be onto that Bastion or gonna be on that Echo like we saw last round. What do you think would be the better pick here for Jack? Because we saw the Bastion work out, but it also hasn't worked out on this map, so we'll see how it goes.
I think without the Symmetra, it's probably not worth trying. Yeah, the Echo is probably a lot safer. Actually seeing Interflux getting off of the Orisa, probably because there's no Bastion, that's probably why they were potentially going on it. So the onus is going to be on Hawk quite a bit to deal with both enemy DPS, whereas Bob Guy is going to have to create pressure on the enemy tanks. So a lot of pressure for both of Coag's DPS, but they proved that they can do it in the defense, so we'll have to see if they can do it again here on their offense.
Yeah, and we'll see if this works out for them. Now Coag is just moving into the rest of the game, moving onto the point, but Nikolai is going to get taken down by Bob Guy, but the rest of the team is just getting pressured down. Reed shield is so low, and it's finally going to break, and that's all the protection got. Jack's getting frozen up by Bob Guy, but Interflux is there with the peel, but Hawk disconnects Madison from the Pharah, and Mustard Man is going to get stunned up by the flashbang, and that's most likely going to be a very quick first point cap for Council of Anime Girls.
Yeah, that's probably going to be first point, and if you're SpongeBob Mac and Cheese is going to take that loss, it was a good offense from Coag, exactly what they needed. Interesting to see Bob Guy actually get a few nice shots up into the sky as well, causing a little bit of havoc against Jack. And that's kind of what you need in this case, because putting all of that pressure to kill the Echo and the Pharah onto just Hawk can be a little bit too much for some McCrees, and that's not saying anything about like, oh, they're bad. No, that's a lot to deal with if you're a single McCree.
Yeah, absolutely. Nikolai is going straight in with the pin, does give his life for a bit of an interesting play there, and now the rest of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese is having to go. Hawk with the counter barrage, how does go down to the barrage, and now Jack with the copied Reinhardt is going to get this hammer down and gonna be able to get a couple kills, and now Coag is just gonna have to reset. However, their time bank does have 4 minutes and 40 seconds left, so they definitely aren't gonna, and Jack going down is not gonna help.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're Madison if you even want to go for that res. That's a little bit risky, especially with Bob Guy kind of camping. Oh, they might actually be trying to cover the res with the window. If not, then I'm not sure what the purpose of the window was, and they're probably going to be wanting that back.
Yeah, the SpongeBob Mac and Cheese looks like they backed off from the window, which is interesting because that's what you see your opponents do. Reed going very aggressive now, the amplification matrix out, the blizzard out. Nikolai tries to shatter. Coag just all pressing Q, and that's going to be a quick fight win for them. 4 ults expended, but the car is going to move. Madison is finally going to get spotted out and very quickly taken down.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you have to do if you're Coag. Ideally with a little bit less ultimates, but at the very least they got the cart moving, and that's all that really matters at the end of the day. They have enough time where they can kind of screw up their ult economy just a little bit, as long as they can still win these fights. They do still have the shatter, they have the beat. However, they're going to have to use them creatively to deal with everything that SpongeBob has.
Yeah, and now it's going to be an all-out brawl. Nikolai is going to get pinned by Reed and very swiftly taken care of in the backline of Council of Anime Girls. And now SpongeBob Mac and Cheese are really on a back foot. Hawk going down is going to help, but the barrage from Mustard Man is going to find Reed, but not before the Fire Strike takes down Jack. This cart is moving so close, and Hungary is just trying to save himself, and Jack is going to get resurrected. Nikolai with the slam is going to find Clown Cat Mushroom trying to save him with the sound barrier, but it just wasn't soon enough. And now it's just Blackman, and he's going to have to run for his life here. Now the Baby Diva is going to get staggered out, and this is so painful here for Council of Anime Girls.
Yeah, you hate to see it if you're an off-tank player, but what can you do? It's really at the mercy of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese at the moment. He can really only run back and wait for the right opportunity to remech. He probably had a brief moment there where he could have pressed Q and probably have survived, but who knows? We won't, because he didn't press Q and just got staggered out. But again, they have 2.5 minutes still. This is not dire straits for Coag quite yet, especially with all the ultimates that they're coming up on, as opposed to SpongeBob Mac and Cheese that are looking a little bit anemic. They have 3, but Coag have basically 5, and probably strong ultimates.
Yeah, but that one stagger took about 40 seconds off the clock, and now Coag are going to be able to take a 5v6 fight here. Blackman is back. He is going to have the bomb. Now the shatter out from Reed. It's massive. Blackman finds 2. Hawk does go down in the meantime, so there's still a fighting chance for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, but it's not looking likely as Jack getting taken down in the back line. Mustard Man does take down Clown Cat, but he does get taken down by a well-placed icicle from Bob Guy, and it looks like Council of Anime Girls will be marching this apart in SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, just walking back. And it does look like Nikolai wants to contest. He's pinning onto Cart. The bomb out from Interflux doesn't find anything, but the Blizzard out onto Cart, and Nikolai is going to get swiftly taken care of. Interflux also taken down by Bob Guy. It's just Mustard Man. He does find Bob Guy, but it's not going to matter too much. The res does come down onto Interflux. Hawk does go down, and SpongeBob Mac and Cheese tried their hardest to try and stall this cart out, but it's not going to be enough. And now, Council of Anime Girls, 2 minutes and 40 seconds to just try and finish this map, and Hungry Dude getting staggered out is definitely not going to help.
No, this is looking pretty good for Coag, especially considering that they're still cycling through ultimates. SpongeBob Mac and Cheese didn't really get the chance to use many of their ultimates. A lot of them died before they had the opportunity. Plus, Madison resing Interflex there. Not a huge health pool to res up like it would have been if they resed a different tank, but still, a little bit of extra ult charge. You know, I'm sure Coag was happy to take that donation.
Yeah, absolutely. But now it's gonna be SpongeBob Mac and Cheese's final stand. It looks like they want to drop the cart here with the Nikolai Shatter. The barrage out from Mustard Man is gonna find Bob Guy. Blackman just not there with the Matrix in time. But now SpongeBob Mac and Cheese is playing split. However, the 2-man Shatter from Nikolai finds Mushroom and Reed, and Jack is gonna make swift work of them. Hawk finds Nikolai, but that's enough for Council of Anime Girls to have to press the reset button, have to go back to the spawn room, and now SpongeBob Mac and Cheese will be able to hold this cart for the time being.
Yeah, however, pretty much only, aside from Mushroom, only SpongeBob Mac and Cheese used ultimates there, so that was probably the best case scenario outside of them using their beef. They're going to have the High Noon, the Matrix, as well as the Shadow. They're coming up on the Bomb and the Blizzard, so they're going to have a lot more to deal with than SpongeBob Mac and Cheese do.
Yeah, but now a complete composition swap. Jack and Mustard Man onto May, and but a 2-man bomb out, and Hawk takes out Jack. This is disastrous for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. Clown Cat does go down, but Hawk with the High Noon, and they can't take the point.
Oh no, they chased kills too much.
They had a chance to win that fight. They had a couple of kills, but it just wasn't enough. And they weren't able. Then they didn't touch the cart.
Nikolai even caught 2 with his Shatter, killed 2 with the Shatter, and they just couldn't touch in time. I think Coag had 3 people on cart as the Blackman, and then the 2 supports, which was just barely enough to outpace the defense. Their attention span, and that's all it took. So Coag not out of this quite yet. They're down 2-1 in the series, but they can certainly fight for that reverse sweep.
Yeah, and now we are going to be going on to Assault. Volskaya Hanamura and Temple of Anubis in the map pool. Oh, what do you think we'll be going into heading into this? It is SpongeBob Mac and Cheese's map pick.
Well, they immediately chose Anubis, so they must have a plan for it. I was going to say probably not Anubis, because that's not a very Pharah/Echo-friendly map. But, on the other hand, it is kind of a Bastion teleporter-friendly map, so who knows?
And especially they have ran the Junkrat before, and the Jack has looked very good on that character. So, and Anubis, a very good Junkrat mat. It's in the olden days of Overwatch in season 1 of Owl, we saw the treehouse with the Orisa and with the Junkrat, and now with the and maybe we'll see a Bastion coming out too, and that amount of damage is going to be very hard for Council of Anime Girls just to deal with.
But they did manage to stave off SpongeBob Mac and Cheese's antics, shall we say, on Hollywood. Actually, rather well. I mean, they captured the final point with like 2 minutes remaining, just about 1.5 minutes. So they definitely are starting to pick up momentum. And actually, I guess not surprisingly, Coag seems to be choosing to attack first this time around. I think both of these teams might be momentum-based teams. So we will have SpongeBob Mac and Cheese on the defense first. So if there's going to be the chance for a Bastion or a Junkrat or anything like that, it's probably going to be on the defense.
Yeah, and we'll see if SpongeBob Mac and Cheese can hold, or if Coag will be able to continue their momentum and try and take this map back, try and get the reverse sweep off of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese.
Well, it looks like we're just waiting on Coag to give the R. Granted, they're also running the lobby. No, okay, so it looks like we're all ready. We'll be going in just a moment here, folks, off to the pyramids of Egypt, to the tomb, I guess you could call it, of a god program, if anyone still follows Overwatch lore besides me.
Yeah, and it's you have to remember, however, Coag is still fighting for their lives. Even with that map win, the momentum is in their favor, but all they have to do is lose this map and they will be out and the series will be over. So they still have to fight like they are in a corner.
Yeah, definitely, because again, they're allowed to tie this map if they want to stay in the series, but I'm sure they don't want to play for that long tonight. They probably just want to win and take it to a map 5 as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it looks like Coag, and it looks like SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, yeah, on the defense. Madison on the Zen, not something we've seen entire series, but it doesn't look like they want to run the Junkrat. They will be going with the double aerial assault.
Yeah. Interesting composition.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of damage, especially with the Discord orb. And there's not really any, and this composition is gonna be played very split, as you already see their positioning. Intraflux is actually on the other side of the point than Madison. So
I'd expect Bobga to have a rather difficult time unless they can find a nice wall to section off Nikolai. The May is going to be very difficult to find much value.
Yeah, and even with Nikolai, even if you do wall him off, he is on ball. Half the time, he'll probably just roll right away and won't be any worse for wear. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this May pick works out for them. Mustardman already 42% of the way to his barrage. He's just been pumping in damage, but now Nikolai is going to be getting chased down by this May. Is somehow still alive. On a sliver of health, but now Council of Animators look like they want to make their way to the point, and Bob Guy with a well-placed icicle onto Jack is going to take him out, and now Madison is getting dove by Blattman. Mustardman takes down Reed, and now the amplification used by Clown Cat, but he gets knocked off his hide, perched by Mustardman, but it's not going to matter as the rest of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese crumble, and they will be getting this first point rather quickly.
That was actually a brilliant pick off onto a Hungry Dude from Hawk there, because Mustard Man has the barrage, and he's had it for a little while now, but there is a little bit of a difficult opportunity to try and, 1v6 as opposed to, you still have the Mercy Pocket, you can try to get the barrage off, be a little bit cheeky like he has been thus far in the series, so taking away that Mercy Pocket was rather huge, I think, to the momentum for the attack in that fight. And now they have 5.5 minutes to take this point. They have a decent amount of ultimates to snowball coming up or are already online. So they do have to be careful of that barrage, of that duplicate, but otherwise they can just kind of run on into this point and act quick.
Yeah, Nikolai trying to roll through, but he's going to have to get out quick, especially with that May. And now Mustardman looks like he wants to barrage. He's letting it rip, but no, he can't find any kills, and Nikolai takes down Bob Guy. However, in the meantime, Madison now with the Transcendence just trying to keep his team up, stacking it up with that Valkyrie. Every single member of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese pressing Q at the same time. It does pay off, but that is most of their ult economy absolutely gone.
Yep, 5 ultimates for a fight win when they have 5 minutes to defend still is probably not the most opportune time to press Q, especially when Interflux is the only one with the ultimate. Maybe if it was Madison that had kept theirs, then it would have been okay-ish. Not still great, because the offense has everything besides their beat basically online. That's going to be really hard to defend against. I don't know how they're going to do it, aside from maybe Mustard Man building up another barrage in like 30 seconds and getting a 5k, but this is gonna be a little bit messy for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, in all honesty.
We'll see if they can hold on, but Mustardman going down isn't gonna help. Hungary is gonna get the res off, but he does give his life for it. The bomb out from Interflux, however, can't find anything, and the rest of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese is crumbling. Madison takes down Mushroom, however, but Interflux gets read. The bomb from Blatman is out and can't find anything, and Nikolai is just dueling Hawk in that bottom corner. Hawk is at quite literally 1 health, but he does take down Mustard Man, and now the Blizzard is out from Bob Guy just to seal the deal. Jack is going to get frozen up and kills her, just rolling in for Council of Anime Girls, and it does look like they will be getting this cap just shortly. Madison will have the trans in just a second, but they're going to get shattered and very quickly dispatched. The rest of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese is back, however, and then pick onto Clown Cat, and Blatman's mech going down. He's going to help. Mustard Man wasn't able to get the barrage off, but now the copy from Jack onto the Reinhardt is going to help. Reed is just in a swing duel with Jack, but he gets taken down. Now the hammer down, but can't find anything. Mushroom has found 2. And it looks like SpongeBob Mac and Cheese still want to fight this Madison with the trade. Mustard Man now back on the Doomfist, finds the baby diva, and it's just Bob Guy and Hungry Dude on the point, and SpongeBob Mac and Cheese are fighting this back from the grave. Madison doing such a good job of finding a couple of kills and building up that transcendence in that fight.
That was a really good recontest from SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. It was mostly on the back of the fact that Madison got shattered before he... Oh, we do have a pause coming in. What I was saying. Madison got shattered before he had the chance to use the Transcendence, so he had it for later, had it for a more hectic stall, but it did help keep Jack alive long enough, especially to get Mustard Man back in the fight. It does look like Hawk asked for pause, so this one's on Coag in particular, but they still have 3 minutes left. They have a decent amount of ultimates still cycling through. They have the beat once again. They have the Shatter and the Baptiste Matrix probably going to be coming up rather soon, mid of the next fight, as opposed to the defense where, assuming Mustard Man swaps, he's not really going to have anything on the Pharah. Jack just used copy, and the Mines is probably going to have to be what they sustain their defense with for the time being.
Yeah, Mushroom does have the beat, but that's really the only thing that Council of Anime Girls is going to have. The other thing, like Reed is going to have his shatter, but who do you really shatter in SpongeBob Mac and Cheese composition? Like
Interflux or Madison, mostly.
You have to shatter either the Diva or the Zen, and even those, the aggression could get punished by Jack or Mustard Man on the Pharah, which I assume he's going to switch back to in just a second.
Probably. It looks like he's halfway back to spawn right now from my perspective, so I'd imagine so. It seems to be his pocket pick thus far tonight, especially with Hungry Dude still on the Mercy. Free pocket, can't pass it up. A fire player's best dream.
Yeah, the one thing, though, is Council of Anime Girls did manage to get up to 2 ticks, so they only do need 1 more. So SpongeBob Mac and Cheese really have to play a tight defense here if they want to hold or whittle this time bank down to anything further lower.
Yeah, they're going to have to play their ultimates a little bit more cleanly. They've been kind of throwing them all out there at once thus far, mostly into stall, but at the very least, now they have 2 ultimates up at the same time. They can use probably both of those in this upcoming fight. That'll probably give Interflux and Madison a chance to build up theirs and try and cycle through as best as they can, because now the ult economy is mostly reset. Looks like we are coming out of the pause, so we will get to see what this offense is gonna entail in just a moment.
Yeah, and Mustard Man is going to go back to his signature Pharah and just continue to spam down the rest of Council of Anime Girls. However, Council of Anime Girls looks like they have found their footing with Hawk. Hawk doing a really good job of pressuring down the Pharah. But now they engage the minefield out from Nikolai. He's going to get frozen but able to live, but because he is playing Wrecking Ball. Jack, however, gets a bit stuck in the backline and does get taken out. And now Nikolai is also going to be taken down. That's not looking good for the side of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. However, Mushroom dying to a Maya is definitely gonna help. Hungry Dude still holding on to this Resurrect. Mustard Man goes down. Hungry Dude trying to get the res off, but he gets stunned and gets kept around by Blatman, and he's not gonna get it. Now the Amplification Matrix out from Clown Dog. Madison gets Bob Guy, and Nikolai gets Reed. The bomb now out from Blatman. Can't find anything. Jack finds Blatman, and SpongeBob Mac and Cheese are gonna bring this back.
That was a little bit of a hectic fight. I think that started with Mushroom wall riding into a mine. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but I'm sure he'd like us to forget it. Unfortunate there that Jack decided to use the duplicate, because that was probably the least needed ultimate in that entire fight, because the fight was basically already won at that point. They had already gotten about 3 kills to 1 loss, and now they're not going to have it for this upcoming fight. Mind you, Mustard Man is going to build up the barrage because far up, and they will have the Transcendence, but I'm sure they would have liked to have the duplicate right at this point, you know, where he could have caused a little bit of chaos.
The inner flux over to the Zarya is very interesting. Grab is a very powerful ult, but also not one you can really effectively build in just a minute. Now the Trance and the Barrage coming out, but no kills were able to come out. However, Blackman's mech could get taken out, but the Blizzard is out, and Jack and Nikolai both go down. Blackman gets taken down by Interflux, but Hawk gets taken down by the Deadeye from... Jack gets rezzed up, but Mushroom has the beat, and now that point is capped, and now 44 seconds in the time bank is what has to be beat for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese.
Crucially, that is under a minute, so that's probably the best case scenario for the insane time bank that Coag had going into that offense. SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, now they can get it into overtime, still capture both points, and they will get a minute. So at the very least, they don't have to worry about a win or lose situation. However, they do still have to get both points, which can be difficult.
SpongeBob Mac and Cheese do still have to cap both points, but that is definitely an improvement from the 5-minute time bank that Council of Anime Girls walked into that second point with. So not the worst situation for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. If they had managed to hold a little bit more on the first point, it would have most likely been going into overtime. But Council of Anime Girls' first push doing a really good job at opening up that first point, and then just using that time bank to play second point as effectively as they can.
For the most part, we're seeing the exact same thing that we did see last round from both teams. Council of Anime Girls seems to be pretty hard locked onto this Rhine Diva, May, McCree brawl, which I don't blame them. It's a good composition. It's been working for them thus far. Whereas pretty much everything on the offense is the same, aside from the supports. Instead of the Zenyatta, we're now seeing the Mercy Lucio. So double main supports. A little bit less utility, but a lot of healing.
Coag is holding close. Jack is just trying to find where they are, and he's finally going to spot them, but now they're just going to rush down. Hungary, dude, and Hungary is just running for their life right now. But now, the point is going to be getting capped. Flatman has to walk into contest, and he gets taken down. Already almost two ticks built up for the side of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. So that close hold may be a mistake for Ounce of Anime Girls, but we'll see how this goes. A bit more of a standard defensive position now adapted, so they have stabilized a bit. Nikolai going in with the slam, and a very good follow-up coming in. Nikolai is going to get frozen, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter too much as the rest of the team crumbles around him. And a very good first point cap, and that very aggressive hold from Counts of Anime Girls may have been a mistake.
Possibly, especially because you just saw them play this composition. You can kind of expect that they're going to play it again. There's too many heroes that can just slip past you, try and C9 the point, which they didn't quite do, but they almost did it. You know, they got like almost 2 ticks from that. That's not what you want to happen.
Yeah, 5 out of the 6 characters in SpongeBob Mac and Cheese's composition having very good mobility. Interflux on the Zarya, though, very interesting. We haven't seen this before, but we'll see how it goes. Nikolai once again diving in. Mustard Man with the barrage, but he's very quickly dispatched of. Now, Jack with the Diva duplicate. He's now going to get frozen and just trying to stay alive, but he's going to get swiftly taken care of and taken out of the duplicate. And now SpongeBob Mac and Cheese don't look like they have a good chance to win this fight. However, Blackman's mech going down is going to help. But now the Valkyrie is out from Madison, and it does look like SpongeBob Mac and Cheese did want to fight this, but they will be backing out. And that might be an ult that they want to get back.
Yeah, that's, you know, the 2 DPS ultimates, that was fine. That was part of the plan. I generally like to say that 2 ultimates is perfectly fine. Any more than that, and they just didn't have a plan. And I think Madison probably had a little bit of a miscommunication as to what was happening. And now you just wasted Valk. You know, you still have basically 3 ultimates.
Aggressive beat now out from Hungary, dude, but Koag have an arsenal of ultimates of their own. Mushroom does go down, but Hawk finds Madison with the Deadeye. Mustard Man and Jack both go down, but Interflux does get Hawk, but it doesn't look like the kills for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese are going to make a difference in the fight. It's a 2v6, and that's not going to work out in their favor. Nikolai gets walled off, gets taken down, and now SpongeBob Mac and Cheese are going to have to take a full reset.
Yeah, and if you're looking at the ult economy, for the most part, it's relatively even. The defense has 3 ultimates online. The offense is going to have 3 ultimates online, so it's going to really be up to Mustard Man and Jack in particular to try and make something work with their offensive push, whereas it's really going to be on Clown Cat and Mushroom to play a little bit split, make sure they don't get picked off, and in Clown Cat's case, possibly use Matrix rather early.
Yeah, now the grab out, but the beat out to counter it immediately, the Immortality Field. And Mustard Man, once again, not doing a great job at using his barrages. Madison is going to get the res just around the corner, but now the bomb out from Blackman, and Hawk is gonna go down, and now kills are coming in for the side of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, and it's looking good for them, as it's just Blackman on the point, and now he's going to get swiftly taken care of, and now this percentage is going to get built up. Hawk is now back on the Doomfist, and we'll see if he can touch. Mushroom is going to come back, but already 80% building, and now this minefield out to prevent anyone from coming through that left side door, and a 3-minute and 41-second time bank for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese.
Whew. That was just really good comboing of their ultimates and target focus from SpongeBob Mac and Cheese at the final hour, in all honesty. I wasn't really expecting them to take that fight after the grab and the barrage were basically whiffs. You know, they just kind of dudded out. But Jack had a really impactful duplicate, took the May, which is kind of an unorthodox duplicate, in all honesty. It's very difficult to build up that Blizzard quickly in the duplicated state. But he got it off, and that froze about half of the defense, allowed them to just clean up from there.
Ready for battle.
Yeah, and now it's counts of Anime Girls. They really do have to cap this first point with 3 minutes and 41 seconds. It's almost it's a very good chance that SpongeBob Mac and Cheese will be able to cap this first point, so it's going to be up to Council of Anime Girls to set the pace for this map.
Well, it looks like Council of Anime Girls are looking to, for the first time in a couple of maps actually, change up their composition, possibly seeing a double bubble. Well, no, okay, they're still changing around, possibly a little bit rattled after their defense failed, whereas SpongeBob Mac and Cheese just kind of sticking with the same old, same old. No reason to swap it up.
It looks like Hawk will be going over to the Widow. This is a very interesting hold from SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. Nikolai is on that ship over to the left side, and Jack and Hungry are hiding. So we'll see if they get picked off early or if they can make it pay off. Hungry is still behind, and Jack is going to get punished by Bob Guy. That's not a great start for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, and definitely not in a resible position for Madison, so they are going to have to get some kills to try and equalize this, but Hawk takes down Mustard Man, and they're already down too. It's not looking good here for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese on their first point defense, as Hungry also gets isolated, and it looks like Coag want to make a statement with their first point attack. Interflux gets antied. Nikolai on that high ground is only going to be able to do much. Jack is back, but he gets slapped and taken care of, and now Counts of Anime Girls will just be marching into second point with a very commanding first point cap.
I think just neither of these teams like defending on Anubis because they've lost it in first fight just about every single time. That's rather weird, but really solid for Council of Anime Girls. It's exactly the kind of push they needed, and they didn't even need ultimates. They took it with a complete dry fight, and because they won that fight, they're ahead in the ult economy. The supports on SpongeBob Mac and Cheese aren't even close to their ultimates yet, and, well, that's not a great start. But you have Bob Guy and Hawk both coming up on their ultimates, so if used at the right time, this can lead to a snowball.
Hawk does get Jack, however, and the entirety of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese are so deep into Counts of Anime Girls, and Counts of Anime Girls are really punishing this aggression very well as the rest of the team kind of crumbles around them. Brad out onto Nikolai, and the rest of the team is falling apart, and Counts of Anime Girls, Jack just finds 2 on the Bastion, but no one can touch, and that's a commanding attack from Council of Anime Girls.
Ooh. Even with 3 minutes and 41 seconds to do it, that's a tall order. That is going to be a really rough offense for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese now. It's not impossible by any metric. They're basically doing it with one less half fight, but it's difficult to capture both points on Anubis, period, let alone with, overtime rounds where the pressure's really on.
Yeah, so we'll see if they can do it, and if they don't, Council of Anime Girls will be taking this map win, and we will be going to a map 5.
Ready for battle.
Well, unsurprisingly, Council of Anime Girls are going to be sticking with the exact composition that worked for them. That seems to be the theme of tonight is once something works for a round, the team sticks on it until it no longer works. Or at least for Coag, at least SpongeBob Mac and Cheese have been sticking with the same essence of their compositions all night long, probably comfort picks or whatnot. It's going to be on them to make this Echo Pharah work better than what Coag did on their attack.
Yeah, so we'll see if they can find the picks that they need. They do have a bit more time, so they will have time to charge a couple ults if their first attack fails. But ideally they'd like to get this first fight over with very quickly, just steamroll into second point and just cap it. But we'll see if that pays off. Flatman going immediately very aggressive onto Jack, taking over that high ground and not letting Jack or Mustardman take control. So really good space control from the D.Va, but it looks like SpongeBob Mac and Cheese will now be pushing in. Nikolai is very deep, but Hawk takes down Jack. Mustardman, however, takes down Mushroom, so that's no resurrection available for Council of Anime Girls, but the rest of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese look to be falling around Mustardman, and it looks like they will be swiftly taken care of. Madison is going to get killed, and it looks like it will be just a quick reset here for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese.
Oh, actually some swaps from the attack. We're having Jack onto the Widowmaker, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to find very much with Flatman on the D.Va. Normally, the Widowmaker works better here with, like, against double shield, for example, where the defenders are more stacked. It's really going to be up to... well, okay, never mind. I was going to say, it's going to be up to the defense to make positional errors here.
Rez is coming out from both sides, but Mustardman does find Hawk, so that's already a good sign for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. Jack takes down Bob Guy, but however, Madison goes down, but the mech for Blackman is gone, and it's just Clown Cat and the baby D.Va, and I don't think the baby D.Va is going to be one. And she's getting staggered out too. She's dueling Jack in the backline, so it's not going to be good for Flatman here, who is going to finally be taken down. And it looks like SpongeBob Mac and Cheese will be going on to second point with just about 2 minutes and 30 seconds in the time bank.
Yeah, however, this time around the ult economy is rather even because there were some fights lost, some fights won. So this is going to be a little bit more even, potentially less of a snowball. So it's going to be on SpongeBob Mac and Cheese.
Mustardman in a dangerous situation. Anti gets Clown Cat with his final rockets. Jack takes down Bob Guy. The res is out onto Clown Cat, but now Hawk has duplicated the Wrecking Ball, and he will have the minefield out onto point. Interflux gets antied and gets taken down in that bottom. Mushroom just with their pistol too, getting some contributions, and it looks like Council of Anime Girls will be able to hold now 1 minute and 50 seconds left in the time bank for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese to try and equalize.
Yeah, and they will still have about 3 or so fights remaining, assuming they take these rather quickly. They have a good amount of ultimates to work with, but again, the defense hasn't really blown their ult economy either, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to push in unless they find an opening and make value out of it. Jack trying to find some angle, but the Widowmakers has increasing...
Oh! Mustardman! Korak was holding very close, and Mustardman was barely able to escape with his life there. Nikolai now with the mines on point. The bombs out from both the D.Vas, and Interflux gets the better bomb, finds the baby D.Va Blackman, but that's the only kill SpongeBob Mac and Cheese have for now is Hawk fighting too. It's not looking good for them, and it looks like this is gonna be another clean, just a simple cleanup here for Council of Anime Girls. Nikolai just trying to get out with his life, and he most likely will. But now, we're down to under a minute for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese to try and cap this point. Jack over to the McCree and to just try and find something against Hawk, but what was working for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese in the first 2 maps is now working for Council of Anime Girls in this war.
Yeah. Irony at its finest, and now you have both barrages online, however. Well, okay.
If he's dead, it's definitely not online, but Madison goes down, that's huge, and Mustardman went down during his barrage. However, this point is getting capped, but kills are coming in for Koak much faster than they are for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. Nikolai is going to get solo barrage, not going to die, but taking a whole heck of a lot of damage, and now SpongeBob Mac and Cheese are fighting for their lives here. They have to find something. They have to touch. Hungry Dude is going to touch, but he's going to have to touch for a couple more seconds if he wants to trigger overtime. Nikolai on the ball is going to be the final effort, but he's going to get forced off a point, and the touch barely comes in from the Tracer of Mustardman. Nikolai is going to get get the mines off, but it's not going to matter. Reed does go down to the mines, but the kills are coming in for Coag all over the board, and it looks like we will be going into a map 5. Jack does find Hawk, but it's not much, and the respawns are much faster and closer for Coag, but Jack finds Blind Man as well. Jack finds Clown Cat. Bob Guy finally takes care of it, and Nikolai is back. Clown Cat gets taken down, but Nikolai finds Bob Guy. In the meantime, Madison goes down. It's anybody's fight at this point. The anti-nade comes out to Nikolai, and the focusing beam onto Hunger is going to take him down, but the pulse bomb onto Reed is just going to chunk his health down. This fight is going either direction here. Mustard Man finally gets taken down by Blackman, and the anti-nade onto the tank of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese might just seal the deal. Nikolai cannot get back to point, and we will be going into a map 5.
I want to highlight Hawk there because I don't think we've talked about him enough on the Echo. He and his duplicates onto the Wrecking Ball in particular, yeah, this very well might be one of them, was absolutely crucial for that overtime defense. Yep, sure enough. Well, not the one I was thinking of, but same idea.
Yeah, Hawk doing so much damage, even when Jack on the Salmon came back and somehow found 3 in that overtime scenario. But Hawk on the Echo was doing so much damage, getting so many pickoffs, and just doing so much work for Council of Anime Girls to be able to capitalize on his damage.
Yeah. Other side note, why hasn't Bob Guy been playing Pharah this entire time? I feel like he was matching, if not outplaying Mustard Man. So that's just one of those moments where it goes, huh. Maybe I am good at this. Maybe I can play Pharah. And it just worked.
And we will be going on to map 5. Control Nepal and Oasis both in the pool. Oasis will be the map pick from SpongeBob Mac and Cheese, and it's gonna be winner takes all here.
Yeah, and again, this is the lower bracket of the playoffs, so a loss here is the end of the season for either of these teams.
Yeah, and somebody is going home today. Coag so close to completing the reverse sweep against SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. But SpongeBob Mac and Cheese definitely does not want to go down. They want to show that once again that they want this championship. They want this win, and they will be fighting for their lives. And what do you think really went wrong for them there against Coag in that final in these last couple of maps?
Anubis is a little bit more complex because there were multiple rounds where different things were going wrong. On their first defense, SpongeBob Mac and Cheese kind of wasted their ult economy. They were using way too many ultimates all at once. They're using 3 or 4 to win these fights, which, it can work on offense, but when you're on defense, that's a death sentence, and it showed when Coag just snowballed their way through eventually. On the second defense, on the other hand, it was just a lack of target focus where Coag just came in and were gunning to go. I don't think they were quite ready for that shift in tempo compared to maps like Lijiang or Rialto, where they're playing a lot slower. Now Coag feels like they're firing in all cylinders and they're playing much faster.
Yeah, they're playing much faster and doing a really good job of also countering Mustard Man's barrages. He has not found a kill with his barrages in what seems like forever. Coag doing such a good job of finding him, focusing him down, and during his barrages, Blackman is doing a very good job of either eating it on Diva or just killing him outright.
Yeah, in particular, I feel like if you play Pharah for an entire series, eventually the opponents, especially if it goes to map 5 of all things, the opponents of that Pharah are probably going to learn how to counter it by that point. Otherwise it would have just been a 3-0 from the get-go. So Mustard Man, his pocket pick, finding diminishing returns over time. And that's probably not what SpongeBob Mac and Cheese wants. They need to be able to split that attention and allow him to go on those crazy flanks again, or Mustard Man needs to play more passive and play with his team and look for opportunities. Because right now, the attention isn't really being split. He's still trying to go on those crazy flanks, and then he's just getting picked off.
Yeah, it's really not working for him. His aggression is getting punished really, really well from the side of Council of Anime Girls. And SpongeBob Mac and Cheese are really going to have to make some adjustments to their playstyle. They were just juggling around with their comps, Jack going to a couple different things as those final moments of Anubis. But it's really going to be on Mustard Man, on Pharah, to try and be more effective, or if he feels like he can't do that, to switch to something else.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at his profile just briefly, I don't know if that's indicative of what they've practiced as a team, but he's also got a decent amount of hours on the Mei, on the Hanzo, on the Reaper recently. So those are all extremely viable picks. I mean, we saw Bob swap over to the Mei for a decent amount of this series up until he went over to the Pharah. So it's extremely viable if they want to try and switch things up, run that Mei. They could try and do the, the Bastion teleport again, although I'm not sure if Oasis is the right map for that. So who knows?
We will see in just a second. In that first match of Control, SpongeBob Mac and Cheese were able to take it, and we will be getting into it right now. Both teams are fighting for their lives here as we go into our final map.
Looks like we're heading to downtown first. I wouldn't expect to see any environmental kills on the cars since that's rather rare outside of composition. But there is going to be a wide open area, and of all the maps for Oasis, this is probably the best one for Pharah, so I'd expect to see Mustard Man stick on the Pharah, Yup, Jack on the Tracer, Bob Guy actually still on the Pharah, as well as Hawk, who has become increasingly better at fighting those aerial duels. Earlier on in the in the series, it felt like the Coag Echoes have had a little bit of difficulty dealing with the Pharah, whereas now Hawk just seems to have Mustard Man dialed in, at least to enough of a degree where it's effective a reasonable amount of time. So I'm very interested to see how these teams approach it, if any of them try to take the high ground, for example. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, and Coag gonna stick to the in-game adjustments that they made in their previous match. They're gonna be sticking with this Pharah Echo and gonna be basically doing Jack on that Tracer, however, and for the Pharmacy duo taken care of very quickly by Mustard Man and Jack. And now already Coag in a very difficult spot. Reed goes down, and it looks like the first cap will most likely be going over to SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. Nikolai will be going down, but that's the only kill for Council of Anime Girls.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
no, that is...
spoke too soon, and that's an extremely valuable pick to have from Bob Guy. So this might actually allow Council of Anime Girls to push in a lot sooner than they otherwise might have.
Yeah, some really well-placed rockets there from Bob Guy to find that kill. And it's not looking good here. It's just Interflux and Nikolai on the point. They're trying to juggle it as best as they can, but now Interflux is denecked. Mustard Man is back, however. We'll see if he can find any kills, and he does onto Clown Dog. The Mercy, and onto Bob Guy. Mustard Man does want to turn this fight. Blatman does get stuck, and he is now out of that Diva Mech, and Mushroom taken down by Hungry Dude with the boop, and SpongeBob Mac and Cheese want to hold this point by the sheer will of Mustard Man. Hawk does find Hungry Dude off on the retreat, but Madison is right there to bring him back.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, okay, we are actually seeing Bob Guy onto the Sombra now. Interesting pick, although I think it will force Nikolai to play a little bit more passive. Check his angles a little bit more, because he's probably going to be bullied out if he gives them the opportunity. Whereas you do have a decent amount of ultimates on both sides. I'd expect to see the barrage soon. Again, Mustard Man likes to use that rather early thus far.
Yeah, we'll see if he can fight anything this time. Hasn't been able to very recently. But now Nikolai is going to lay down the mines in that choke point and just zone people out. The copy from Hawk out onto the Tracer. Mustard Man barrage very early, got Reed, but killed himself in the process. But it's fine. The Mercy is there with the Resurrect. 3 kills already for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. And they're showing their dominance back from the earlier maps. Mustard Man with complete aerial control in the sky.
Yeah, this is looking pretty grim for Coag. I don't even know if they're going to be able to touch. Actually, no, Bob Guy is.
Bob Guy on the Sombra.
Yep.
But it's really not a great situation. He's going to get dispatched of. I don't know if that was enough to trigger overtime, however. And it wasn't. He was just a couple. I think he was just about 1 second off from being able to trigger overtime.
Probably. I know it's 3 seconds in timed mode, which I guess would be about 97%, and he touched it about 95 to 96, so about as close as he could be without actually getting there. It's a little bit tragic, but that was probably the best map for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese and their composition that they like to play. It's still viable on basically every other map, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult to play, especially if Hawk or Bob Guy wants to go over to like a McCree, for example, just try and shut down Mustard Man once again. I wouldn't blame them for trying so. But it looks like they're sticking onto this Echo Tracer double bubble composition, so see how they make it work.
Yeah, now Interflux is over to that Diva. Hawk on that Tracer, so we are going to have that Tracer duel with Bob Guy trying to take out Mustard Man in the sky. We'll see which aerial character can get the better of each other. Already we see them dueling with the Merchants, just kind of following them around, and Mustard Man is going to get the better of the Echo and just going to camp that body so Mushroom can't res. Interflux there to just pick up the kill, but Reed and Flatman going to trade out Nikolai and Hungary. Mustard Man, however, punishing the Winston for his aggression, but Jack goes down to a nice melee from a Flatman, but it looks like SpongeBob Mac and Cheese have the better positioning here. It's just Hawk on point, but Interflux does get demeched, but this Mustard Man just cleaning up these kills so effectively on the far end. He will be taken, and the first cap will go over to SpongeBob Mac and Cheese.
One thing I'm noticing with SpongeBob Mac and Cheese and how they're playing this composition is, for the most part, you'll have Interflux and like Madison sticking further in the back line along with Mustard Man, and then you have the rest of their team running over and just completely committing themselves to Coag's backline. And thus far, it's working. They're creating more of that chaos that they did earlier in the series.
Yeah, Hawk and Jack just dueling. Reed goes solo and finally finished off by Mustard Man. The anti-nade tried to come in from Clown Cat, but there just wasn't anything there. Bob Guy taken out by a nice direct rocket from Mustard Man, and once again, just absolute dominance coming out from SpongeBob Mac and Cheese on this open ground. Nikolai gets slept, but Clown Cat's gonna get taken out anyways.
Yeah, in all honesty, this is looking rather grim. Coag looks like a shell of their former selves from Anubis and from Hollywood. So they're really going to need to bring it together.
Yeah, they were doing such a good job of shutting down Mustard Man, but here, without Hawk on that McCree and without him on the far, there's just no one to really fight Mustard Man. Blatman gets solo barrage, quickly taken care of. Jack sticks a pulse bomb on the side of Reed's shield. The bomb out from Interflux doesn't find anything, but he will be able to get back and wreck as Mustard Man does get resurrected. Reed now with a primal rage, just trying to get anything, environmental kills or just a boof or something. He is going to get the nano, and Hungary is just getting knocked around, but Jack does get Mushroom, and Mustard Man gets Clown Cat, and now with the beat from Hungary, that might just seal this fight as the mines come out from Bob Guy. Interflux Mech does go down, and he is just getting challenged out by the tanks, but Blatman just can't really do anything against the Farah. He's so close to that grab, but he finally gets taken down, and at 94%, this is Coag's tournament life on the line. Someone has to touch. Mushroom is there, and they have to win this fight, or they will be out of the tournament. Interflux going down early is definitely good news, but what a great Mushroom onto Hungry Dude. However, Reed does go down, but Mustard Man gets stuck with the stickies and taken down. Madison, however, does get the rest, but with Jack going down, it doesn't look like SpongeBob Mac and Cheese will be able to flip this point, and Council of Anime Girls manages to hang on for just a bit longer.
By the skin of their teeth, and now they have a decent enough ult economy where they can probably hold this point as long as they either focus down Mustard Man or focus down the rest of the team and then Mustard Man. And thus far, it's looking like focusing down Mustard Man first is creating the openings they need, because this Farah is just doing so much damage and completely uncontested for the most part.
Yeah, there's the Hawk Bob Guy not doing a good enough job, but the stick onto the Clown Cat is huge. Jack does get solo grabbed, and Mustard Man gets grabbed while barraging. That's not great, and Madison Resurrect gets canceled and taken down by Reed. Not good for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. The remnants of their team will be taken down. It's just Interflex, and the Baby Diva most likely gonna get staggered out here. He's just gonna try to just knock himself off the map. Mushroom doing his best to try and prevent that, but he will get off. But now Coag have built up to 52%.
Yeah, they're not quite into do or die situation quite yet. They still have a few more fights, and that's not a great way to start the fight.
Yeah, and now that means that they will SpongeBob Mac and Cheese will be able to take the 5v5, and Interflex will be back very shortly, so it's soon to be a 65. Mushroom gets the beat onto him and his tanks, and now that will be doing sustain, but it's very quickly going away. Reed now with the Primal Rage, knocking people around after getting the kill onto Hungry Dude with his Tesla Cannon, and Clown Cat gets the anti-nade onto Jack, but Nikolai finds two Mushroom once again running into the mines, and this might not be, and this isn't a great situation for Council of Anime Girls, but they do have the better positioning, and with that Z-Mech onto Interflex, that might be good, but only territory left. SpongeBob Mac and Cheese have to either take a very quick reset or have to continue fighting this if they want to take this round. Now the Pulse Bomb out from Hawk doesn't fight anything, but Jack takes him out. Bob Guy with the Sticky Bomb onto Mustard Man is huge, but now Jack with the Pulse Bomb able to live with the help of Bob Man double. Bob Guy finds Madison, now the bomb out for Interflex, gets two! And that might have just kept SpongeBob Mac and Cheese in this fight. It's just Interflex on the point. Jack finally gets taken out. Bob Guy's self-destruct doesn't fight anything. Hungry and Jack get taken care of. Interflex gets taken out. It's just Nikolai on the point, and he's not going to be able to do much, but Mustard Man Barrage catches Reed, but he's finally taken out by Koei, and they're not able to touch. Nikolai was most likely going to die, and Koei did have the map locked up, but a great enemy will be going into a third map of Oasis.
Of course, this had to go the distance. I have the stream on my other monitor, and we're just at the point where SpongeBob Mac and Cheese had hit 99%. So, stream, you're in for a treat for the next 100% or so. Do have a pause coming out. Looks like, well, I don't want to say anything about these compositions quite yet because it's probably just in stall mode still. We might see Hawk on the Reaper, Mustard Man probably sticking onto the Farah, and yeah, actually it looks like SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. I wouldn't be shocked to see them stick on this in its entirety.
Yeah, we saw Hawk on the Reaper in the other games, but it's not something that worked out for them in their first round in Lijiang, but we'll see if it can work out better here. The Hawk should be able to do a lot of damage into Nikolai, so we will see.
Yeah, that's assuming they can survive long enough from Mustard Man. It's really going to be on Bob Guy to continue to distract Mustard Man. I'm not sure how much the cameras caught it, but for the most part, Mustard Man was actually trying to shoot up into the sky at Bob Guy, and that's not usually what you want the Farah to do. Usually the Farah v Farah duel, for example, is won by whichever Farah can get pot shots into the ground while they're also trying to shoot down their counterpart. And in this case, Bob Guy was looking down at Mustard Man for basically their entire 1v1 and was able to get a ton of extra pot shots in, whereas Mustard Man wasn't doing anything but missing his shots on an Echo, which unsurprisingly is a very hard target to hit as far. So actually we do see a few swaps coming in. We're seeing the traditional brawl come in, with Hawk probably going to the Symmetra for the quick TP and then going to the McCree or possibly Soldier or Tracer to make it his team quickly. But as long as he is on the McCree or the Reaper, that might
the
be
Reaper range buff could be viable, but this Oasis University have pretty closed off map, so it's possible but not likely. Mustard Man going very far into the backline to try and just dive this backline of Koei. They were able to get out in time, but Bob Guy is hacked and taken out by a quick rocket from Mustard Man. The May without the ice block is a bit of a sitting duck. The hack now comes out onto Flatman, and Reed's falls very low, but Mustard Man gets taken down trying to capitalize on it, and that's not a that's a good start for Koei here trying to equalize after that kill. But somehow the res comes out onto him from Madison throughout all the chaos, and this is now going to be a 6v6 fight with Bob Guy coming back, but both the Lucios get traded out. Nikolai gets taken down. Clown Cat and Mustard Man just trying to bring this fight back. The quick shot. Hawk gets taken down by, or Interflex gets taken down by Hawk, and this fight is still going on, but it looks like SpongeBob Mac and Cheese do have the better positioning. They do have the tools to win this fight and take this first cap.
That was a very long fight just to take first capture percentage. If I'm Hawk here, I'd like to use the Death Blossom early and just immediately swap to something like a McCree or maybe a Soldier. McCree's probably the best option here, especially because that can also deal with the Sombra, who now has EMP, mind you, so that might end up being a fight winner by itself, depending on if Hawk uses the Death Blossom earlier or after said EMP.
Yeah, now the EMP gonna come out early onto 4 members of Council of Anime Girls, and now the rest rest of SpongeBob Mac and Cheese just surging forward. The kill onto Hawk, though, is all they're gonna get. And Mushroom finally goes down. Blackman is gonna chuck in the bomb, and Madison both go down. This isn't looking good here for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese with those kills, and now they're gonna have to go back on point. Mustard Man finds 2 with his barrage, but not before Blackman takes him out. And it looks like the Concept Anime Girls still want to fight this. They have a 2-man advantage. The bomb out from Interflex just to remech, but it's gonna get so low value. And now the point will be flipping over to Council of Anime Girls. Madison's gonna get staggered out here. Jack on the Sombra just trying to live with his life, but taken down by Blackman.
Yeah, and crucially, Hawk is now over to that McCree. He's already halfway to a High Noon. And this is probably the worst map for Farah out of all the maps on Oasis. So this is going to be a little bit difficult for Mustard Man. You do have Nikolai trying to find something, but he's been getting shut down a lot by Mob Guy and Hawk in particular, as well as Blackman getting in a bit of extra damage. So I'd expect the Blizzard to come out soonish, and SpongeBob Mac and Cheese don't have anything to invest this fight.
Hawk finds Jack early, and now the Blizzard comes out onto the point, doesn't catch anyone, but just zones everyone away from just the entirety of the point. Interflex and Nikolai both are going to get caught out here, and Coag's just going to swiftly dispatch of them, and Coag's just going to keep holding this point and most likely surpass SpongeBob Mac and Cheese in terms of percentage.
Yeah, especially because now they're cycling ultimates. Yeah, of course, Mustard Man has to swap off of the Farah there. I wouldn't be shocked to even see Jack swap off of the Sombra, although that one is still somewhat viable. It's going to be difficult, though. Yeah, they're going to have... Okay, Nikolai's going to swap to the Reinhardt. That's going to make this brawl a little bit easier. They're going for the EMP Blossom combo is my guess. Shadow Dive, I guess it used to be called, or Shadow Brawl in this case. But they're still coming into a massive disadvantage with ultimates.
The wall catches a couple. Nikolai gets caught out, and the Deadeye from Hawk, the bomb onto Nikolai. That's half the team for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese gone. Jack just trying to charge out a little more to his EMP, but he will be taken out. And it's getting closer and closer to final fight territory for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese.
Yep, we're getting to that magic number 85% where it's one fight territory. All they're going to have on SpongeBob Mac and Cheese is EMP. The defense, in this case, Coag, has both support ultimates and Primal Rage if Reed really needs to get that feed out of his system.
Bob Guy doesn't get the best wall, and now the amplification matrix out from Clown Cat. The EMP out, and it's a big one onto 5, but Mushroom manages to crucially get the sound barrier off and save his team. And Jack gave his life for that EMP, and it's not looking good here for SpongeBob Mac and Cheese's tournament life. Interflex and Nikolai are down, both tanks are down, and it's just Mustard Man on the point here.
No one can touch, wait.
Jack is back, the Doomfist is here, but it's just him, and it's not looking good. The High Noon out from Hawk just to stall it out, and that is it. Council of Anime Girls will complete the reverse sweep on to SpongeBob Mac and Cheese and move on to play Meow-Weejian in the losers finals.
Play of the game.
Hawk, unsurprisingly, getting play of the game here. I wonder if this is... Yep, this is this High Noon. Sing of Beauty. There's nothing quite like taking out both supports to secure a fight win.
Yeah, absolutely not. But Coag manages to eke out a hard-fought map. And matched for that matter, SpongeBob Mac and Cheese just can't come up in the end. And Council of Anime Girls moving on to fight Meow-Weejian in the losers finals.
Yeah, definitely. So in a brief period now, we will be trying to get someone in for an interview. We'll be asking the team.
An accredited. Yeah, and we will be going into a break, but stick around. We will be having an interview for you guys very shortly. Who?
She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow. I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt a glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven had found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Owlet Playoff Season 3.9. Coag eking out a close match 3-2 over SpongeBob Mac and Cheese and completing the reverse sweep. And we have Bob Guy for our post-game interview. Hello, Bob Guy, and congratulations on your win.
Hello, thank you. Thank you. It was a close game.
That's
Absolutely.
an understatement.
The closest, maybe.
Yeah, and for the first question, you guys played a bit more of a brawly style in that first two maps, and on that third, you made the adjustment. You played the Echo and did very well there. And what was the main reason for you making that swap? Was it something you had practiced before, or was it something that you just came onto to counter what SpongeBob Mac and Cheese were running?
Sorry, on which map are you talking about?
On just in the whole series in general, when you guys were making mid-game adjustments, going to Hawk, playing the McCree and you on the Echo later in the round.
Yeah, I mean, the first couple maps, we were just getting cheesed out by the double flyer and the Bastion on Rialto. So we had to make some swaps. We went to just the full May Cree for like a map and a half just to run at them so that their flyers can get anything. And then when we hit Anubis, at some point we realized, wait, we can just out double flyer them. And I think that's how we got Anubis there.
Right. So, in particular on Oasis, I gotta know, what were the comms like on Gardens when you guys were already down one round? It was 99%. You were stalling it out. What allowed you to bring that round back and ultimately the series?
I think we said really coordinated push there. I wasn't part of it. I was in Respawn Simulator there coming back. I honestly thought that we lost the point, but then I saw we got a pick, and then I think Mushroom got a huge boop on someone, and then I was able to come in over the top and duel their Pharah, and then we were able to take it from there and use our ults efficiently to finish out the round.
And speaking of their Pharah, Mustard Man, towards the end of Oasis when you were on the Echo and he was on the Pharah, he seemed to sort of take the duel with you, and you were actually winning those duels. So how would you say you managed to approach that and actually outduel the person who was causing you so much trouble earlier on in the series?
Yeah, Mustardman's is a really good Pharah. He was actually clapping me up a bit in the first half of Gardens there. But then I just realized I had to get the jump on him because each time he was just seeing where I was. I just had to get the jump and land stickies, and then it would be game over.
Absolutely. And before we go out, do you have any last words you want to say to everyone else? Do you want to say to SpongeBob Mac and Cheese or to Meowegian, who you guys will be playing in the losers finals?
Yeah, to SpongeBob, I just want to say that's a very fun game. That was definitely one of our closest game, and it was fun through the whole thing. To Meow, we have this whole week. We're going to prepare, and we're ready to take our win back from them.
Well, we will be looking forward to that match. But other than that, that was Council of Anime Girls versus SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. Council of Anime Girls completing the reverse sweep and getting a 3-2 over SpongeBob Mac and Cheese. Acronator, do you have any final words?
I'm really looking forward to the grudge match between Coag and Meowegian now for the losers finals. Obviously, Meowegian was the one that sent Coag to the losers bracket, so a little bit of a rivalry there brewing up for next week.
Absolutely. But thank you for watching Owlet Season 3.9 playoffs, and we look forward to seeing you back for our next match.
Every time we say goodbye, they all see that it's a lie. 'Cause we always give it one last try. Yeah, you've watched me break 1,000 times. Now I'm all alone, 'cause you never show. You say you will, but then you don't. That's how it goes. Don't wanna know. I'm turning off my mind so I get by. I just wanna be happy, happy tonight. without giving a warning. I'ma leave without giving a. But every time we say goodbye, we all know that